he has good technique, he will be elite. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Famer.
Going down again. Left Q. Red Williams.
Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, being a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. This is actual film. It's actual football talk. It's a football show. We're supposed to talk football, not storylines.
And you are listening to another edition of Blewett's Blitz. Kyle, I got to get a new intro soon, 1, and 2. I feel like at least for the live streams, I should have like kind of like a secondary one where at least your name pops up on the bottom too. Maybe I think maybe you deserve that at least by now.
Name, okay, I'll take a name.
Yeah, at least your name. It's not. They're not gonna change to Blewett's and Smith's Blitz, but you know, at least a little like watermark in the bottom right or bottom left or something. Just like maybe in like 8 font, just your name right there.
Barely legible. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, just like that fine print on like a contract that they don't really want you to know about.
I appreciate it. That's very kind of you.
What's up, Eagle, Steven, Zach, EE? I don't know who that is. Verge Tibbs, Brendan. I appreciate all you guys being in here. Kyle, we do have an announcement to make, but I'm gonna hold it off for a little bit. The funny thing is, I was like thinking about it before. It's like it's not really that big of an announcement, but it's an announcement. So I'm gonna wait till a little bit more people get in here.
Sure.
And or maybe we'll see how much we get pressed, but at least until we get 100 people in here. People are already talking about, or in the chat, Kyle, I don't know if you see it, the whole thing with Greg Knapp. We can address it quickly just in terms of what's going on. We don't really know right now. It's not 100% confirmed, and I don't necessarily want to touch on something that's not 100% confirmed. I know one of his good friends posted something about how much Greg Knapp meant to him. And then at the end of the message said RIP. So you'd think that he most likely passed away, but we don't really know. It could be a fake account. It could be a bunch of different things, and obviously it'd be pretty screwed up if somebody made a fake account to do that. But it's something I don't necessarily want to touch on and confirm until we 100% know. Obviously, if that is the case, that's horrible for all of his friends, family, all that stuff. I don't know what happened, but riding your bike and get hit by a car, obviously pretty traumatic. So prayers to his family, his friends, and all that. But again, we don't really know. So I kind of want to leave it at that.
Yeah, so I won't really say much more. I mean, you've probably seen things like this in, police work, people getting hit by cars and stuff. At one time I was driving and I saw someone who was on a bike get hit by a car. The kid ended up being all right, but I'm assuming the guy who hit him must have been going fast. And we can definitely confirm 100% that he was hit.
Yeah, there's people now.
It's a tragedy for sure.
I don't know if it's I haven't seen it yet, but from the people in the chat are saying that it is confirmed. Max, Eagle said it. So obviously it's tragic, what more can you say than it's tragic, and you hope his family can get over it. Second, football is secondary to that. So prayers for the family and all the friends before we even discuss what that means for the Jets. That's down the road. We won't.
And let's just be transparent with that. Like, there's a reason why people do moments of silence and things like that. So consider this to be a moment of silence. We're not going to even talk about how that affects the Jets and Wilson and all that kind of stuff right now. So we'll talk about that at a future time. So just out of, being sensitive about the whole situation. So,
yeah. So today we are going to be doing something that is kind of fun. Typically when people ask me, I usually say I hate stats. But today we're going to do stats, Kyle.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't even promote your Twitter. Are you, I'm still at Joe RB31. I have been for 10 years. You're still at Kyle J Smith.
Yes.
Are you ever going to change it? Is there any consideration to changing it?
Are
you going to put Kyle Smith NFL or no?
No. I always told myself I'd never do that.
Okay.
But if I could ever get a hand of Kyle Smith, I mean, I saw the dude who has Kyle Smith on Twitter. He hasn't tweeted in like years. So I feel like he should have to give up the account handle, but
write an email to Twitter or something like that.
I thought I could do that. I think they used to do that in the past. I don't think they do that anymore. So
we'll figure it out. We'll get you that handle. Or maybe do Kyle J Smith and then whatever your football number was. I don't know what you rocked. You're like an offensive and defensive lineman. So did you rock like 75 or something like that?
True story. So we were talking about jerseys last week, and we were talking about aesthetics and stuff. And I told you how when I was in high school, I always, bought my jerseys and stuff. I was always very happy to do that, both home and away jersey. I chose the number 51 when I was in high school because Jonathan Vilma of the Jets wore 51. And at the time when I was, a young junior in high school and not knowing what I know now, I judged based on stats. And Jonathan Vilma always racked up tons of tackles.
And
by the way, right? Vilma was a good player. I'm not saying Vilma wasn't. Vilma was a good player. Mm-hmm. But I judged a guy solely based on stats, and he was pretty young at the time. So Vilma was one of my favorite players. So 51 was my number for that.
Isn't that Pouncey's number from the? Is there? I know there's centers who rock 50 in the 50s. I think that's a good aesthetic, but 51's not a bad number for an offensive line. And then if you switch over to defensive line for a couple of snaps, I think it's a pretty good number. It's a rock. So salute to 51. It's a pretty good one. So Kyle, like I said, today we're going to do, by the way, I was looking for my remote. If I could find my remote, I could put the comments on my screen and my TV. As you can see, I'm in a different room. So I have my TV for the comments, but I got to find the remote while you're talking, because apparently it just disappeared. I was almost in a little bit of a panic.
You're trying to blame your wife, but you're just not saying it out loud.
No, it's a funny thing I was just about to blame her, and it was just you interrupted, so I wasn't able to fully blame her. The remote and the charger, my computer charger, I could not find it. Like 2 minutes before we were supposed to get on, could not find the charger where I usually leave it. Completely gone. I'm like, I'm gonna text her, and she's like, oh yeah, that thing, I left it at my mom's. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So thank God I found it. But today, like I said, stats, we're gonna do rushing yards, we're gonna talk about sacks and interceptions, we're gonna talk about offensive rookie of the year for the Jets, defensive player of the year, MVP, team captains. We're gonna do superlatives like quickest feet, best hands, who's the slowest guy in the Jets, who's the most weird. We got a bunch overrated, underrated, best players in history. We got a bunch of different topics. Late July, the rookies have reported. 2 days ago, I believe they reported. You had ABT who signed on that day or the day after. Then you had Elijah Morris on that, or like 2 days after as well. Zach Wilson's the only guy remained on side. I think it's going to happen. I'm not really looking to get into a discussion about that. It's going to happen. You'd think, at least, because I know Quinn Williams and Sam Darnold held out. So slightly concerning. I don't know why it takes so long, to be completely honest. Like, you've had since April 30th to figure this out. But do you know any reason? Obviously, there's offset language with guarantees and all these different like little intricacies. I know you get paid the same amount no matter what, but it's all about when it comes, what the bonuses are, all of that. So are you nervous at all in terms of
I'm not nervous. And I think that I know the agent really has most of the say. Yeah. Like, the agent's really the one who says, hey, just listen to me. I've been doing this. This is why you pay me. But at the end of the day, if the kid tells the agent, listen, I don't give a shit how much I'm paying you. I want to be in training camp day one. If he tells the agent that, the agent will find a way to make it happen. And, part of me just believes that Zach Wilson loves football so much. He's going to find a way to be practicing day one. So I think he's going to tell his agent, get it done. But, kudos to the agent trying to hold out to the last possible minute so he can get the best possible deal for Wilson. It's just business.
Yeah. Eagle just asked in the chat a question for both. With the NHL expansion draft from your own team, name 5 players you protect on offense, defense, and 1 on special teams. On the Jets.
You talking about hockey or the Jets?
No, the Jets. But
okay,
aren't there certain rules to that? Like, you can't take people who are in their first or second year. There's a bunch of rules to that. So I have no idea how the expansion draft works. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure.
But if he's asking who are 5 people on offense that we protect and 5 people on defense that we protect, we could answer
5
that.
from the whole team. That's a hard conversation. I think you go.
Would Zach Wilson have to be one of them for sure?
Zach Wilson, Quinn Williams would have to be one. Makai
Becton,
AVT, and Elijah Moore.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
because Corey Davis's age, you have Carl Lawson's age.
Corey Davis's age and injuries, and Carl Lawson also injuries as well.
And I think you could reasonably argue Lawson or maybe Davis over a guy like Moore because he's unproven. But at the same time, Carl Lawson's 27 or no, I think he's 25, and Corey Davis is 25, 26 and Davis is 27. So, hard question to answer. I know there's a bunch of stipulations around that. So I don't really, we could do that. Maybe next show.
He said 5 from offense and 5 from defense and 1 from special teams.
Are you sure you're reading right?
I'm looking at the chat right now.
Oh, okay. So we have 5 on offense. So we'll do this really quickly. So I think we're going to agree. Wilson, Becton, AVT, Moore, Davis, or Mims?
I would say Mims.
Mims. Okay. I'm cool with that. Now 5 on defense. We have Lawson, Q, JFM.
No.
No.
Why JFM?
Who how many players who are great on defense that we have?
But here's what makes this tough. Are we factoring in contracts?
I think I guess we can factor in contracts. We can be factoring in age as well. So okay, so let's say Q, Lawson, Hall are easily 3, right? I'm protecting Hall. And
dude,
who else do you have?
If contract's not a thing, I would take Maye or Mosley over both those guys that you just named. I'm saying
JFM
and Hall. If we're not really worried about contracts, then yeah. I mean, Bryce Hall is still relatively unproven, and JFM. I mean, he had a pretty damn good year.
I think we're gonna have a big disagreement in our top 25. That's a preview too.
Okay.
About where JFM ranks.
And I like JFM, but
so we're going Maye.
But you also have but with the Jets, and for the Jets for years, we've had an embarrassment of riches with defensive line play, especially guys that have an ability to slide inside. It's never been a problem on the Jets for as long as I've really been following the team closely.
Oh, now there's no first or second year players. So now we're talking about a whole different conversation. You know what? We'll do this on our next show. We'll push that off because we're gonna have a whole conversation. Because listen, the Jets are, they have some players you want to protect, but a lot of them are young guys. So now we're eliminating Mims. Now we're eliminating Moore. Now you can probably bring in Davis. Now you don't need Wilson. You don't need Becton. You don't need AVT.
Yeah.
So it's like now we have Davis, Connor McGovern, Morgan
We'd have to
Moses.
probably think about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
One of the questions in the thing that we're going to talk about today, one of the questions, I won't say it right now. It took me probably 30 minutes to think about it before I wrote down the names for that one.
For what? Sorry. What'd you?
I didn't say it yet because I don't know. I guess assume we want to go in order, but I'm saying I thought hard about some of these questions for tonight's discussion. And I probably spent like a good 30 minutes, maybe even 45 minutes on one question, just going up and down the roster. But anyway,
wow, dedication. I was at work bored at like 5 o'clock in the morning, kind of just threw out some numbers, but I guess we can get into the conversations.
All right. See. Do you want me to talk while you figure out your TV?
Hollywood? No, I figured it out. I figured it out.
Okay.
It's just weird because usually I could pause it on my phone, and now I'm just seeing listen, if there's one thing I can splurge on in my house that was acceptable, you have to have conversations with your wife, what you're able to, you know how it is, Kyle. You're a married man. Mm-hmm. But I got a 75-inch TV with like some surround sound down here. So it's kind of weird seeing like a life-size picture of us on right in front of my face while I'm also looking at you while trying to read the comments on that screen. So it's a little bit different. Braden said, nice t-shirt, Joe. I want one. Well, Sabo, drop the link in there. We have a store. Maybe we'll send out some shirts too. I would love to people be walking. If I see somebody at a Jets game with a Jets X Factor, if I see somebody at a Jets game or at the Carolina game, just in general with the Jets X Factor shirt on, I'll be ecstatic. So yes, go buy them. Verge says he got the dark green Jet XT. Look at that. See, drop them in there. Verge. I don't know. Was it Jet X shop? I think it is. So I'd appreciate that. But Kyle, let's get into the most recent thing that happened, at least in terms of the roster, the Marcus Maye thing. We kind of discussed it last week. We kind of touched on it pretty quickly. I think we'll do the same now. But overall, what are your thoughts on not signing him? He's on his franchise tag. I should be better prepared with numbers and all that stuff in terms of like what it exactly is. But it's like $10.5 to $11 million ish is the tag. And then next year, if you tag him again, it goes up 20%. Now, I don't know if that 20%, I don't know if that includes the cap going up or if it's 20% more than what it is now. That's the only question I have. I'm sure I could look it up.
That is a good question. I don't know.
But regardless, let's say let's just be safe and say it's 11 now, and it'll go up to, let's say 13.5 next year. If they were to tag him again. But overall, what are your thoughts? There's a lot of people who are concerned.
To answer your question, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, it's always an average of the top 5 salaries at that position. So naturally, by next year, you're going to see some new safeties get some contracts. So, and the general trend in the NFL is salaries are always going up. We had the one exception last year with the dip. Well, obviously revenues dipped because of COVID, no ticket sales and things like that. But anyway, we should expect the salaries to raise next year. So
100%.
It's going to be the average of the top 5. And then I guess they're going to put like a 20% increase based on the fact that he's a double. I don't know exactly how it works, but that's just me thinking about it out loud. But anyway, to answer the question about him not getting signed, I'm fine with it. I would have liked to see them sign him, but you have to play the numbers. Good teams are always letting good players walk. The Ravens have still been a good team even after they let CJ Mosley walk. And they did not want to let CJ Mosley walk. They strongly considered franchise tagging him. They wanted to let him test the open market. He did, and he almost re-signed with him. The Jets just had to give him way above what the Ravens were willing to give him.
Came gun blazing,
Yeah. But good teams are going to let guys, and who knows what Maye was talking to people during free agency and what kind of numbers they were throwing around at him. And if you're the Jets and you got a certain number in your mind, it doesn't make sense to meet him at that. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, like, was it Scott Mason? And Scott and I are buddies. So if I'm wrong and if I'm calling him out, I don't think he's going to mind too much. I think Scott said recently that Marcus Maye was only really hurt 1 year. I don't know if that's true. I feel like he was hurt 2 years of his playing career, and he missed a lot of games in both those years.
He's been pretty healthy the last 2 years.
The last 2 years, but I think his first 2 years he was banged up a decent amount.
No, somebody drop in the chat.
I think 1 year. Games. I think 1 year he only played 6 games.
That had to be his first year then.
So missing like 10 games.
I forget. Yeah. The thing with Maye is, to me, generally. And I hate starting off negative. I think he's a little bit overrated by fans. I think he's pretty solid. I don't think he's elite. I don't think he's a pro bowler. I think he's a good communicator. I think he's a good locker room guy. I think he's versatile in terms of playing high and low. I think he's a little bit better high than low. So it's a little bit concerning hearing he's going to play a little bit more low this year, even though they're going to be playing, a lot of 6, a lot of 4, a lot of 2, a lot of 3. Saleh's not a strict cover 3 guy. He really does mix it up a lot from everything you see, all the stats, even what you see on film. And they came out with all the numbers. Like he was actually one of the highest in quarters coverage. And I saw a decent amount of cover 6 too. Obviously, we had to see what Ulbrich brings to the team and all that stuff. So there's a lot of kind of intricacies on exactly what they're going to do with both meshing 2 defensive systems, even though they came from the same base with the roster too. So what do they want to do? It's a huge question. But overall, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what they do with Maye. But in terms of Maye, still feel like he's solid, not great. I think. Can
I elaborate on your point more? So let's say Saleh is running a lot more quarters. That brings down Maye's value because Maye is pretty damn good when he's the single high safety. He doesn't have sick range like Earl Thomas did in his heyday, but I think he processes things pretty quick. So even though he's not the rangiest guy, he still has a tendency to get to where he needs to be pretty quick. But if you're running more quarters or, even if you run more cover 2 where you have 2 safeties up top, a guy who's got decent range who can get from where he needs to be, his value is naturally going to drop. So you have to ask yourself the question, okay, if I got a safety who's, doesn't have it, or if I got a safety who supposedly has really good abilities, but the scheme that I'm playing doesn't really let him showcase it, then is it even worth the money? So,
yeah. And the thing with Maye too is and I was saying it last show, and I thought back on a little bit, I think 12 is a little bit too high for Maye. And it's basically because of where they have him on the tag right now, because what I said last show, I believe, was you signed to a 3-year deal. That's like really 2, with the third year not being guaranteed. Maybe I think I brought up a 3-year, $36 million contract with the max I was willing to go with like 25, 26 million guaranteed. But realistically, look at it. He's 28 years old. You're going to pay him, let's say, $11 million this year. I forget exactly what it is, 10.6, 7, 8, whatever exactly it is. And if you tag him again next year, it goes up 120%. So now you're looking at, $24 million, $23 million over 2 years. He's going to be 30 years old. And after this year, you can figure out if you want to sign him to a 2-year, 3-year deal, if he fits, So I don't think having him under control for the next 2 years, they're taking advantage of what they're afforded with the franchise tag. I know some players don't like it, etc. He's still getting over $10 million this year. You tag him again, he's getting about $13 million. It's in a contract. They negotiated for it, and they accepted. Both sides accepted it. So for the Jets not to take advantage of it, I think would be foolish. So they have 2 years of control with Maye for what I said they should probably sign him for. So why are they going to go above and beyond that? What's the point of going to $14 million if you can just franchise them back to back? What's the point of spending that extra couple of $1 million to make your locker room happy? Because I know a lot of it's coming around now where, the Jets aren't paying anybody. There's been a problem with not paying anybody.
You can also have a lower cap number is the thing. Because
when
you franchise guy, whatever that salary is, that is the cap number as well. Versus, because you can spread a contract over a certain period of years, you could lower the cap number with a long-term deal.
Yeah, that's true. But I just, and a lot of people bring up not signing guys. It's not like the Jets have had many big players walk out the door because they're not signing them. Jamal Adams' situation speaks for itself. Sam Darnold speaks for itself. What other guys has Joe Douglas really not paid? I think the only guy that people really argue is Robbie Anderson, and he admitted, publicly that he flubbed on that one. So you're really only talking about Robbie Anderson now, Marcus Maye a little bit, but I think guys get it. And if the NFL is a business, I don't think they're looking at it like, they're a JV team. You're not keeping around their buddy. It's an NFL. It's a league. That's the league. It's generated off the money and stuff like that. So we had a question here, or we had a comment on here that I wanted to talk about. And not that I just
Ashton Davis.
No, it's not about Ashton Davis. I want to go up a little bit more. One said Will, which by the way, hello to Jets gang, Max, Will, MM, Harry W. I think most of you have been in here before. If you are new, welcome again. There's a lot of comments that usually go up and down, so I can't really tell everybody who's been in here. I know the people who are usually in here. But one of the guys said, Joe, just watch your Rankins review. Got to be a higher priority than JFM. I think Rankins at his peak has shown better flashes than JFM. It's just a big question in terms of the injuries the last couple of years with Rankins, and would you rather have him or JFM long term? If you're getting peak Rankins, 2018 Rankins, you're taking Rankins all day. But JFM is still young and still ascending. The last year was like his first real year of like fully starting and playing a lot of snaps, and he balled out. So that's just a different conversation. But the one guy said, and Jordan, which is not to pick on anybody, it's in the chat. He says Hall is overrated. Waller exposed him, and then somebody kind of said, I forget exactly who it is, but I saw it in the chat. It was like, hey, it's his first year. He's coming off of an injury with no training camp. Yeah, he got abused basically by the third best tight end in the NFL right now.
Yeah, and Waller abused Maye too.
Yeah, he beat up on Maye. So, and I think that guy Jordan kind of referenced that fans think he's gonna be a Pro Bowler this year. That's not our expectation. I don't know if that's coming from other fans, Twitter, wherever that's coming from.
Who said that?
Yeah, I don't know who's saying Hall's a Pro Bowler. I think if you got decent cornerback to play from Hall this year, I think we'd be ecstatic. In year two. Year one not having a training camp. I said I think his ceiling is a really good number 2. I don't think he's number 1. I don't think he has the athleticism for it. I think he's smart enough and physical and long enough to be a really good number 2. The only problem that he's in a face this year, which is why some people might overlook him a little bit, is because he's gonna be facing probably a lot of number 1s because of the state of the Jets cornerback room. And that's why last year you might have overlooked some of his play, because he had to go against Keenan Allen and Devontae Parker and Darren Waller. And those games, go back and watch the games that he had against Keenan Allen and Parker, even though he let up receptions, how close were those receptions guarded by Hall? And then somebody brought up Bless Austin's rookie year. Bless Austin versus Hall's rookie years are not even close to similar. He was playing the Giants and the Redskins, and he got benched versus the Steelers. Like his rookie year, and I'm on. You can go back on all these videos. Somewhere in there, I was saying that his rookie year was massively overrated when everybody was coming out and saying, "Oh, he's going to be a good starter." And I was one of the only few who were like, "Listen, this guy, he wasn't very good. I don't know why people are hyping this guy up so much." So I'm a lot more.
Three reasons. One, he's from Rutgers, and a lot of Jets fans are from this area. Reason two, PFF gave him a pretty good rating. And workout videos is the other one. Jets fans go crazy when player posts workout videos. Was a little disappointing to see. And I know Woody's trying to hype up the team in general, and he's posted stuff about a lot of players, but why bless Austin?
Mm-hmm.
I saw him do that recently. Wow.
I think somebody like tagged me in that or something like that. Like, oh, who's staying on the team? We'll see. 53-man roster predictions coming relatively soon. Steven Engel said PFF is absolute trash. I think they're good for some stuff. For other stuff, not so much. That's what I'll say. And Steven also said Jason Pinnock is the next Richard Sherman, 5th round pick and long hair. The problem with that is Steven, he shaved his head. He doesn't have dreads anymore. So
and I think Steven's just being sarcastic.
No, anyway. obviously. Derek Chan, I don't know if I've seen you in here. Welcome, Sir Mainzer. I've seen you. Harry,
he's the one who asked about Ashton Davis. If I can elaborate on that quickly.
Go ahead. I didn't see that question.
Dude, yeah,
again, I'm sorry. There's a lot of questions coming up. Super chats always. I'm gonna figure out a way. I don't know if we can do it in Zoom. I know Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 stuff. Like they'll pull up the comments on the screen. I'll try to figure that out to do that so you guys can see the questions we're responding to and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get more technical.
Okay. I think it was Sir Manser who said that, franchise tagging Maye is smart because, if Ashton Davis pans out, he can be the replacement. And I think that you want to be really skeptical with that. I mean, in theory, I want to say that Ashton Davis has a higher ceiling than Maye because he does have a greater ability to have more range because he is very athletic. I just really, really ever doubt that he'll get there. There's some really serious flaws in his game. With the way he reads coverages and even just how he fills gaps in the run game, his run fits. I mean, and sometimes the way, I mean, he can hit hard, kind of like Joyner in that sense that, when Joyner's got a guy squared up, Joyner can lay a shot. And we saw Ashton Davis do that in the Patriots Monday Night Football game last year. But Ashton Davis, when he's got to come from on high and make a tackle, he takes bad angles. Did you agree with that, Joe?
Yeah, for sure. And expecting
Davis to replace Maye, I think you got to really hit the pause button there because I don't see that happening.
Yeah, that was the one review, or probably one of the first reviews that I did last year with Marcus Coleman, again, 11-year NFL guy, and we kind of watched it, and we both said like he has the athleticism to succeed in the NFL, 100%. But in terms of the technical side, which is 90% of the game. Not necessarily technique in terms of like dropping your hips and things like that. I'm talking about like reading offenses, leveraging yourself over route concepts, like all that stuff we discussed. He was severely lacking in a lot of those areas. And me and Marcus were not as high, let's say, as some other Jets fans on him. I think he needed a lot of seasoning, and there's a lot of Jets fans saying this guy's going to be an absolute stud, and kind of said, yeah, he could be, but he needs a lot of room to grow. Like he's going to be, if he's good, he's going to be good in year 3 or 4 versus year 1 or 2. And he can improve, this year a lot. And let's be fair to all the rookies last year, and basically in the NFL, they didn't have that training camp. They didn't have that preseason to really hone in their skills. So all those guys are starting from behind, where I think this year versus any other year, you're going to see these guys in the second year take a massive leap because they didn't have that time. So that's all obviously important. The one thing I didn't mention at the beginning of the show, by the way, appreciate all the support. We're almost at 100, so I'll announce what we're going to announce soon. We got like 8.6 thousand views last show, Kyle, so that was freaking awesome. That's not even including the listens, so we appreciate you guys growing with the channel. We're going to keep pumping out videos. We have an announcement in a little while, so I want to mention in the beginning, but I do appreciate freaking everybody in here. Steven Engel saying, Joe Blewett, you eyeballing me, son. I don't know what that means, but I guess. Let's see. Okay, so Kyle, let's get into the stats because we are I don't even know what time it is. 6:30. So we're 30 minutes. Sir said, Kyle and Joe, can we get a quick moment of silence for Greg Knapp? The official announcement is out on the news. We already talked about it. Moment of silence. 3, 2, 1. Okay. There it is. So last year's stats, or sorry, we're going to bring up, it's your job lingo. Look, come on. Oh, okay. He's talking about me being a cop. You eyeballing me, son. I don't say that. I'm like, that's from like a 1970s, like Reno 911 movie probably. And 2, you can't really do that. That's not what it is. So now we're going to predict stats, Kyle. It's going to be difficult. I am not a good stats guy. And if you could, I would appreciate if you can write down your stats, because at the end of the year, we were going to go back and we were going to see who was right and who was the closest on some of these.
I got it written down and saved.
Oh yeah. Okay. You do. Obviously you just said you were going through like some of these questions for like 30 minutes. So obviously you probably saved them.
There was only one question that took me that long. And I'll
which
tell you
question was it?
Okay, I'm not telling you right now. I'll tell you when we get to it.
Now Steven's saying you're out of your jurisdiction, son. what? Okay. That's good. So the first one we're going to talk about, I guess let's go down the order that we're talking about. Elijah Pemperdon said, "Call me crazy or optimistic, but I genuinely believe the Jets are making the playoffs this year."
It's possible. It's possible. We said 9-8 last week,
dude. And my thing is like people. I think Jets fans, and there's a reason they're so negative, and they deserve to be the last couple of years. The really quick thing I'll say with that is 2019. We had a terrible roster, a terrible coach. We went 7-9. Last year, we went 2-13, 2-14. Sorry, just with better coaching. I'm going to say they at least at the bare minimum they get one more win. At the bare minimum, I would argue that you can get the Patriots game, the Raiders game, pretty easily. Maybe even the Broncos game. So let's say 4 or 5 wins with just better coaching. And there's people out there saying, "Oh, they're going to get 5 or 6 wins." So with the addition of Saleh and all these guys, you're only saying it's going to get, the 2-3 wins. I just don't see it. Like, and that's why I was really confident. And I put 250, 500, whatever I put on the Jets being above 6.5, because
I think it was a good bet.
Because I'm pretty damn confident. I'm in the 7 to 9 range. I'm not trying to be too optimistic or anything like that. We break it down here. That's what we do. So if I thought they were going to suck, I wouldn't put a lot of money on them. Being a decent team. I just think people are being kind of too cautious to buy into this. But their roster has dramatically improved. Like, we can go back and compare. We're not going to do it now, but the Jets 2019 roster, when they won 7 games, versus this roster would blow that roster out of the water. And then you look at coaching, blows it out of the water. And that's with Saleh being unproven, but Saleh being unproven is already better than Gase, So it's just, how can that team get 7 wins? And then you're predicting this team to get 6 or 5 wins. I don't see it. I get why some people think
with
that.
With an extra game on the schedule.
Yeah.
And I would say the division is pretty good this year, but when you look at the other opponents that they're playing, I mean, the NFC South, I know you got the Bucks, but the NFC South is they're in a downward spin. The schedule doesn't look that hard. We have a 4th place schedule that we're going against. So,
last year's schedule was really tough too. Really tough.
So
I think we like the 3rd or 4th hardest schedule in the NFL last year.
Sir Mansir, thank you for that nice compliment.
What did he say?
He said that you guys
don't look like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Dude, even kids at the football camp are saying that crap. I hate that.
You got to shave the beard, dude.
No, my beard's a lot cleaner than his. So he said, and I'm better looking than him. He said, you guys are a really great team with facts.
So wait. Hold on. Can I, so you're better looking than Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you're just as athletic and as good of a player as Ronald Blair.
No, I didn't say either. Well, I'm definitely better looking than Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm nowhere close to the player of Ronald Blair. I said we just excel and don't excel in the same areas. Ryan Fitzpatrick's got a beer belly, man. When I remember that 2016 season, he said he had like the summer of George Costanza, where he had like beers coming out of his reclining chair and stuff. And that was part of the reason why he sucked so bad that year. Ryan Fitzpatrick's not in the best shape. I'm not a Ryan Fitzpatrick fan. That season really killed me and really soured my view of him. but he's not. You could do a lot worse than him at quarterback. I'll say that.
Didn't he just recently come out and say that the 2016 Jets like was his
Made him hate
worst year?
football. Made him hate football.
Yeah, ever playing football. But it's like, dude, we hated watching you just as much. Like, didn't he throw what was it?
Six picks. My dad and mom was at that game in Kansas City.
I guess good games to be at, or like, would you rather go to a game? It depends on what kind of fan you are. Like, I like people like always talk about, want to see the Jets like in these close games. And like, yeah, if you could know the end result that they're going to win, sure. But going into the game, do I want to see the Jets absolutely blow people out? Yes. Like I would like to be comfortably drunk in the third quarter up, 35-6. Like I'm cool with that. I've had too many stressful games over the years. With the Jets usually trying to climb back into games. So I'm cool with some blowouts. So I don't know if they appreciated the 6 picks versus
I'll tell you this.
or not.
My mom wore a Jets jersey. My dad wore a Chiefs jersey. My mom said that the Chiefs fans were so nice. They felt bad for her after, such a horrible loss, throwing 6 picks. Every time they get another red zone, he's throwing a pick. So they felt bad for her.
Andrew Golden, welcome from Jets X Factor, said, what are the odds the Jets win a game in Buffalo by forfeit? I'm guessing at least one out of 4 right now. I don't know if it's forfeit by, I guess, COVID. I don't know how high they are in terms of their COVID numbers, but some of that COVID stuff came out recently, which is pretty crazy. I read like baseline into it, but
I saw that tweet and that report.
Yeah. So Kyle, I'm going to bring up the last year's leaders. This is how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to minimize you because I need 2 screens up. So I'm not gonna be able to see your face for a couple of minutes.
So now my face is getting minimized after you already told me that my name's going to be in 8-inch font on the logo.
You got to earn 8 to 9 to 10 to 12. I'll let you pick the font. Times New Roman. What do you what do you want?
I'm a Calibri guy myself.
Okay, there you go. So, we got 97 people in here. 3 more people join. Well, I'll make the announcement. But we wanted to build it up. The funny thing is, I'm gonna announce it, and it's gonna be a total flub. But whatever. So last year's rushing leader, Kyle, 187 attempts, 653 yards, 2 touchdowns. Do you know who that player was?
Frank Gore.
3.5 yards per carry this year. 101 people. Stefan. It's Stefan, not Steven. Okay, sorry, Stefan. Pinky up. So the announcement, it's nothing big. The only thing that I'm going to, the thing that it is Kyle and I now every other, and it's going to be Thursday, we're doing a podcast. So it's not going to be every month. We're going to do every other week now. So every other Thursday at 6 p.m., we're going to be doing a podcast throughout the season. During the off season, we might cut it down to 1 a month, depending. But every other week during the season, and from now moving forward, it's going to be twice a month instead of the once a month. So there we go. Yeah. Next,
looking forward to
more of us now, like topics we did last week where it was like, okay, we have a shitload of topics and we're just going to lightning round through the last hour of the show. Now we can actually get into stuff. In the schedule prediction, we'd actually get into all of the matchups and things like that. So you're going to be getting double the dose of Kyle Smith and I on live streams, which is kind of funny. Kyle, I thought about it before we aired. Initially, we were going to do the show together once a week. And you didn't, you bailed last second. It is what it is. That was a couple of years ago. I forgive you. Now it was once a month. Now it's twice a month. So this is me just reversing it, like slowly working you into just agreeing to do it every week. So we'll go from 2 to 1.
Pretty soon you're going to have me writing an article every day. And
hey man, it is what it is. So you'll be seeing double of us. So with podcasts or live streams,
but we put them on the podcast feed too, which, to be honest, all right, so here's the deal. So Joe Blewett puts out a film breakdown for every player and stuff. You don't, and he puts that on the MP3 podcast feed. There's no reason why you should listen to a player review on that. I mean, I guess it's better if it's the only way you could consume the content, I guess. But with a live stream, since we don't put that many plays on the screen and stuff, we will every now and then. A discussion like this, you could listen to on through the podcast app too. So Joe, we're going to take this feed, this file, and also put it on there as well. But yes, with this YouTube live stream.
Yeah, every other week. Again, we're doubling the live streams, and then still with that, that'll be on Thursday. And then either on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, I'll still be doing my film reviews too. So you'll get a full film breakdown of the entire game. Usually do anywhere from 40 to, I think I've had as much as 90 plays. And then you'll also have Kyle every other week to kind of break down.
Yeah, your Zach Wilson was like 130 something plays.
Well, I'm talking about usually for the games. It can be anywhere from, and with the Jets, and the Jets get really shitty, it would be like 35 plays because I was just so done. But like week 1, week 2 was like 90 something. So you're probably looking at like 3-hour reviews of every single game, and then 3 hours of us on Thursday nights. So it's permanently going to be Thursday night, 6 o'clock now, just because we want to digest some of the film before we talk about it. There's sometimes like I'm getting married or not. I'm getting kind of remarried. I already got married, but I'm going to Antigua. There's some weeks we're going to move it. But a lot of the time, the 26 out of 52 times of the year, or whatever it's going to be, it'll be on, Thursday, but it will move around a little bit. So, Yosh said, great. Can't get enough. You guys appreciate it. Eagle says,
share the show then. Share the show. Smash the like button,
Eagle said comments on Ryan Fitzpatrick complaining about the Jets in 2016. Eagle, you got to listen more closely because we just talked about it. What the hell are you talking about? Okay. So
I think he's still watching hockey highlights.
Probably. So I didn't do carries with this or any of these. I didn't do carries with this one. I don't know if you did. No. Who is your rushing yard leader, Kyle, for the Jets in 2021? And I want to see some people in the chat to drop what they think, because it's going to be interesting. It's an interesting discussion. And how many do they have?
All right, here we go. Drum roll. All right. So for the most rushing yards for the Jets 2021, I have Michael Carter, UNC, 650 yards.
Okay. I wish I could share my screen because I am ridiculously close to you. I have UNC running back Michael Carter at 657 yards.
Wow.
So I have 7 more yards than you do on Michael Carter. With that, and that just comes with me, and I like Ty Johnson. I want to see more than him in just the Raiders game and in a couple of carries here and there. A lot of those holes were pretty wide open for him, to be completely honest. So I want to see him, face a little bit more controversy on a snap-to-snap basis and see how he could perform. And yeah, the Jets ran left at that point of the season. I think I don't know how you feel about it, Kyle. I feel that's a little bit overstated in terms of run left, because the thing about a lot of zone plays is cutbacks are huge. And if your guys on that backside of a run can afford you the opportunity to cut back consistently, and you can press the outside a little bit and then hit the middle because your guys on the backside are sealing guys to the backside, that's huge as well. So just because your guys are good on the left side does not mean run left. You can run right and just be just as effective because you have that opportunity to press and cut back. So that's way overstated to me, is the whole run left thing. I don't know how you feel about that quickly.
Yeah, no, I agree. And people are saying, it's because of Becton. And Becton is very special in this, the lane that he can create. Baldy saying, Highway 77. Becton, yes, can create that good lane. One thing Joe Blewett pointed out a lot in his film reviews is like how, because Becton was always really concerned with throwing people, sometimes they'd have a chance to rebound from time to time. But even so, like, let's say there were times when, like, Becton is also very useful when you're running right, because sometimes, if the running back, as Joe said, does cut back, Becton, he's going to end up washing down some of those guys who are inside, and Becton can move people. So sometimes he's moving an interior defender, a big interior defender, not someone on the edge. And then the running back can cut to the outside of a big interior defender too. So even though if you run right, Becton can still be very useful in zone blocking that way too. So yeah, that was my point.
Another guy, Ryan Thompson, said I have the Jets at 7 wins because they're, growing pains, things like that. I said 7 and 9. I think they're going to be 7 to 9 wins. I could see 6 in a really bad scenario. People get injured. I could see as high as 10 if everything goes right. The schedule is ridiculously easy. I think we have a Lions fan in here saying that Stafford's better than Wilson. Okay, go watch the Lions stream. Like, what are you doing in here? And Stafford he's been in the league since 2009. So he's a 12-year vet. And if you are a Lions fan, he never won anything with you and wanted to get out of out of Detroit. So cool. I don't get that. And And then somebody else said it in terms of
get a life, bro. Going on a jet stream.
So there you go. You can just say it. So and then with that, somebody said Moses will do the same thing on the right. Listen, we'll talk about it in our player rankings. Moses is good. He's not elite. He's not very, very good. I think he's an above average to solid player. There's a reason he signed for 3.5 to 5.3 with incentives. He's good. He's not Becton.
Yeah.
There's no
dude.
Yeah.
Moses on a combo block, he'll knock the crap out of a guy on a combo block. But the way that Becton can move someone out in space and literally like create a whole new running lane is special. You don't see that. From
like you
Moses.
could literally drive trucks through some of the lanes.
Yeah.
I think 6'11", the secondary is a problem in a young offense. The Jets will be exciting, but not good. Okay. That's fine. So moving on. We had some guys in the chat. Somebody said 700 yards or a little bit plus that with Carter. 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. I was actually pretty. So, who is your rushing touchdown leader? And again,
why don't we elaborate for a moment on why we picked Carter?
Yeah, I was just about to go there because, and I was kind of saying, I went to the chat again. I like Carter, but let's be honest. If we had a better running back room, you probably wouldn't predict him to be the leader in year one as a 4th round guy. But I don't. Have a lot of faith in Coleman. I'm not a big Coleman guy. He's
a little washed.
Let's face it. The review will come out. You guys will see it, and you'll probably see it this year. I think he defines the word jag at this point in his career. Ty Johnson is still unproven, and I think he probably will be the number 2 guy in terms of the reps he's getting. And then Josh Adams and P. Ryan are fighting for that number 4 spot. So I think it's Ty Johnson and Carter. I don't think Carter's taking a ton of the snaps early. But I think towards the end of the year, he's going to establish himself as the, the 1A, 1B. I don't think he's going to be that lead back that we had in the early to mid 2000s. It's more of that, 3 running back thing now in the NFL, or 2 guys, that dual system. So I think Carter will eventually push to be that guy who gets the most reps. And that's why I'm saying he's going to get the most. I don't know if you feel the same way though.
Yeah, pretty much. I do think that they're going to spread the wealth with the carries, and that's why I have him at 650 yards. It's not like, if someone gets 650 yards, that's definitely not good fantasy numbers at all. But I think it's just because the Jets are going to spread the wealth. Josh Adams looked decent in, limited reps last year. Ty Johnson looked decent. Tevin Coleman obviously has scheme familiarity. So it's a lot of guys getting carries. But for me, it's like, the one position where you have such an easy transition and you really don't see like rookies really struggle is running backs. In fact, there've been so many guys where their best season in the NFL was when they were a rookie because they still have those really, really fresh legs. So I think that 600, I feel very confident saying that he can get 650 yards.
Which it's not like we're saying 1,000, I think we're being pretty conservative to be honest. And it really comes from, I think they're going to spread the wealth. I think you might see a guy like Ty Johnson, have, let's say 500. You might see a guy like Coleman have 300-400. You might see Josh Adams or P. Ryan have, 300-400. I don't think it's going to be that one bell cow type thing. So that's why we're pretty low.
And I want to say one more thing with that too. I think Carter's going to be on the field a lot more than the other running backs too, because in my mind, he's a way better receiver than the other backs. Like, I'm not talking just in terms of pure runner, but as a receiver, he's got a significant, gap between him and the other running backs. So just from offensive game planning, you can keep him on the field on an obvious passing down or what seems to be an obvious passing down, and you can give him a draw. Right. So, and when you run draws on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, it's easier to pick up some yards. Sometimes you can, get a first down that way too.
Letter boxes.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think that he'll sneak in some yards that way too. Whereas you might not see someone like Coleman or Ty Johnson get some of those yards. So
we still have the Lions fan talking crap like they have won anything in the last. I think Eagle had the perfect response.
At least the Jets can say they won a Super Bowl.
That's what Eagle said. He's like at least he's like come back when they've at least won a Super Bowl.
Dude, how does it feel to play on Thanksgiving on national TV every year and get embarrassed?
How does it and to be probably the bottom 3 team in the NFL right now who knows and have a top 3 pick and has Jared Goff as your quarterback, who is even
and
better
you got a
with Sean
tight end.
McVay.
You got a tight ends coach as your head coach.
Yeah.
Because he gives rah-rah speeches. Yeah, have fun with that.
Somebody said in the chat that they Josh Adams, or Verge Tibbs says Josh Adams he think will improve his catching, have 737 yards. I don't see that.
I don't remember him catching any passes last year.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he didn't. I just don't remember it.
No, he might have caught like one on a check down, but he bounced from the Eagles. He's been on the Jets practice squad. It's his like 4th year in the NFL. If he was going to be anything, he would have been it by now. So I think he's more of a depth guy. I don't think he's going to get 700 yards. I severely doubt that. I love it, bro. We have Sewell, baby. At least he's smart enough to want Sewell over Chase. I'm sure he's of that mindset as well.
Chase wasn't available when the Lions picked.
Even if he was, the Lions would be smart enough to take Sewell over Chase. How many rushing TDs does the
they should have
get?
taken a quarterback though? And
the Lions?
Yeah, they should have taken Fields. I know you're not the hugest Fields fan, but you think they should have stuck with you think they should have taken Sewell or Fields? Come on, Joe. You don't agree with that.
I think the Lions might think they're so far back right now from building that they don't want to like. I think there's a to a certain extent you want to have somewhat of a decent situation for a quarterback to walk into in their rookie year, and I think the Lions might think they're so far away from competing that the time they're ready to compete, they might have to sign Fields. So they might be competing when he's year 3, 4, 5 instead of competing like year 2. So I think they're so bad right now that might be why they didn't take Fields, like just from a
you still could have started Jared Goff all year and have Fields sat for
I'm saying in terms of taking advantage of the rookie contract, that's why people draft the rookie quarterback. So if they're not ready to compete until Fields is in year 4, when you're probably gonna have to sign him already, then what's kind of the point? And I get it's a quarterback and all that stuff, but and maybe they weren't overly confident in him, and I think it's like, again, we kind of talked about it, I think it's like the new cool thing. Like I think pretty much every single person who's in NFL media says Fields should have been the pick at 2. Fields should have been the pick. Oh, Fields was so good. Don't know why Fields fell. Fields. And I think it's because like a little bit of him being like the build you want for a Madden quarterback. And I think a lot of people have the memory of that Clemson game as their only memory of Fields. And that's what they think he was over his entire college or collegiate career, which is not the case at all. That was the best game.
Didn't he have like a mini documentary on Netflix about him too?
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he did.
I didn't see it, but
I didn't watch it. If they drafted him, I would have watched it.
100%. But I just think that people have that one game in their memory, and that's what they think he was in his whole collegiate career, which is not true. That's the best game that at least to my knowledge, that Lawrence has played, Wilson has played, any of the drafted quarterbacks played. That was the best game that any of them ever had. The thing with that is that was not him on the regular, even close to it, at least from what I watched. So. Moving on. Who's your rushing touchdowns leader and who is it? Did you already say? I don't think you already said it.
No, I didn't. I just closed my thing, but I'm almost positive I know off the top of my head. All right, so I have Tevin Coleman, 6 rushing touchdowns for the leader.
Why?
Well, listen. The Jets don't have a bruiser as a back, right? They don't. Do they have a bruiser, Joe?
Yeah, but I'm putting P. Ryan or Josh Adams in on the goal line over Coleman. Coleman gears down into contact.
Dude,
he has bad vision.
Dude, you even said yourself on our last show that P. Ryan probably might not even make the roster.
If Coleman wasn't like that guy to know the system, all that, Coleman's on a guy who I'd guarantee to make the roster. So why is he going to get the most rushing touchdowns? Like I think Carter. I think Carter has more power than him.
Do you think P. Ryan is going to make the roster over Coleman? I know that's for a future show discussion.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Of course. I think Coleman's like the 3rd guy right now, but I think that 4th battle is between Josh Adams and P. Ryan. But you could think whatever you want. That's fine. That's your guy.
JetX subscribers, tell me, watch Joe Blewett's film breakdown on Tevin Coleman, and you will see.
It's not out yet.
Oh, well, I've watched it. Even though I don't get a shirt or anything, at least I got early access to the videos.
There you
go. You'll watch when it is released. Joe Blewett's going to say, hey, one thing you'll notice about Coleman is
underrated power. He's got
shitty feet. He overextends his feet too much, takes 2 big strides, but he falls forward in contact, and it reminds you a little bit of Bilal Powell. You said that in the show.
Falling forward doesn't necessarily mean good power.
You want to fall forward on the goal line, right, Joe?
Yes, but there's also a play in that review that I specifically remember of him on the goal line. And what did I say about him on the goal line, Kyle? Do you remember that?
Remind me.
That he gears down into contact on the goal line, and he shouldn't be a goal line guy.
Well,
I'm pretty sure I said that.
I'll tell you this: his time both in Atlanta and San Fran, he got more goal line touches than Devonta Freeman, and he got more goal line touches than any other running back.
It's in the archives. It's written down. You're wrong. It's okay. All right. I have Michael Carter. I have Michael Carter at 5.
Okay.
Could say 6, could say 7. I just think the guy with the most rushing yards doesn't have the most rushing touchdowns. And I think with him being like more of that explosive guy in the second level with explosive plays, I think you're going to see him have, a touchdown or two this year of 15, 20, 25 plus yards. I think he's going to bust a couple. Not like he did in North Carolina against Miami or anything like that, but I think a couple of those will not necessarily be goal line touches, but from, red zone type area. Moving on. To the next stat. Again, there's no way we're getting to all this. We're through the first 3 topics and it's 7:00, which is fine.
We're spending time arguing with Lions losers.
Yeah, somebody just said in the chat, Lions fans bragging about Stafford, kind of like us bragging about Sam. Like you're talking about your quarterback who you never really won any playoff games with, maybe one, and now he's gone after 12 years, and now you're stuck with Jared Goff, who again was bad with Sean McVay. Wait until he's not with Sean McVay. Jared Goff is ass. He's bad. Like even in the Super Bowl years, Kyle, like we were talking about, he's very overrated. He's a top really 10 guy. He was never even top 15 or probably even top 20 to me, like ever. I always thought he's been bad.
Yeah, he builds under pressure. He's a guy who he can make all the throws. Like his arm talent is fine. There's a lot of other things that go into playing quarterback.
Sir Manzer brings up a good point. Coleman will be out by week 6. What do you have to say about the injuries, Kyle?
Well, he could still be out and miss several games and have a couple of games where he has 2 touchdowns a game, just where he gets 1 yard on the goal line.
He didn't. He had like, I think he had like 3 or 4 touchdowns in the Panthers game in 2019. The one game I watched.
Oh yeah. The Panthers defense was so bad that year.
Cowardly Lion. You all just haters on the Lions. Cowardly Lion. If I knew you well enough, I would make $100 bet with you that the Lions are a bottom 5 team in the NFL this year. But I don't know you. But come back in the end of the 2021 season and see how bad the Lions are. Receptions, Kyle. Who do you have? This one is. There's a lot of different opinions on who's going to be the receiving leader, the touchdown leader for the Jets, and in terms of the receiving game. So who do you have as the reception leader?
Elijah Moore, 68.
So this is one I'm kind of struggling on, because with Moore, now you have like those pop passes and all those screens and stuff I think he's going to get. So I'm really fighting to not put Moore in there. I'm not fighting to, like, it's not like I want to. I'm trying to think like, okay, Keelan Cole, he's a little bit of I'm just saying he's a veteran, so he's going to take some snaps. Crowder's going to take some snaps away from Elijah Moore. Like, it's not like he's going to get all the snaps year one. And I think Corey Davis is going to be on the field anytime they have a receiver on the field, pretty much, where Moore may not see the field all the time, where he might be at, Davis might be at 90%, where Moore is at 75, because you have to, rotate some guys in there. So I'm really close on the reception total. I'm just different player. I have Corey Davis at 66. Would he be your number 2?
That's a good question. I also considered Crowder, but I mean, Crowder's not getting the big money that Corey Davis. Here's the thing for me with Corey Davis. Corey Davis misses a couple games every year.
What, he missed 2 last year? He does. Yeah, he's been banged up,
especially his first couple of years. So the idea that Corey Davis is going to play 17 games this year seems a little, I don't know if we can bet on that. So I might put him at number 2. I didn't really think about it until now. I just thought, who's going to be the one? And for me, it was pretty easy to say Elijah Moore, because just like you think, all right, so if he goes in motion, jet motion, and they do a little pop past him, that counts as a reception.
That's what I said. Yeah. Pop passes. Yeah.
So, I mean, but you can also see him running, like little stick routes and things like that, where he's just catching a ball 5 yards, and he can do that and just eat. He can catch drag routes over the middle. And he's also, I don't think they're going to pull him off when they need to go deep too. In an obvious deep passing down situation. This guy shows that he can obliterate guys deep. Watch the Vanderbilt game. So
watch all the games.
Yeah. I think he's going to be on the field all the time.
I'm cool with that. I would love for Moore to be what Jets, like, he's the most hyped up rookie. Like, listen, we're all excited for Zach Wilson, but I think, like, minus Zach Wilson, everybody unanimously is really excited for Elijah Moore. Like, it's everybody in the fan base is super pumped up. The Lion guy is still saying that something. I don't know,
dude. What makes it? Here's what makes it even worse, Joe.
The funny thing is, I really don't even care about him because he's not like a Bills or a Pats or a Dolphins fan. I just don't know why a Lions fan is in here. Welcome.
And he's 40 years old. He's born in 81. He's 40 years old on a Jets live stream, talking about something that's not even really.
Kyle, we can be friends with the Lions fans. I don't care. We both have sucked so bad. Why can't we just be friends? Like, who cares? Why do you hate on the Jets? Why do you hate on the Jets? But legitimately, we know the Jets sucked the last couple of years. We're not being biased against the Lions. They just really, really suck right now. The Jets really have sucked for a while, and the Jets still are a good team, but they're better than the Lions. That's for sure. We have Mike says Corey Davis, 74 receptions. Jordan says Fredenberg, I think it is, 78 receptions. Sir says Davis, 70 to 80. So I think most fans think it's going to be Davis. I said 66 just because of the depth of the receivers. And I think that the Jets will be spreading the ball out a lot between those guys. And I also think if they are able to, they'll be a run-first team. So I don't think they're going to throw as much as some other teams will. So that's why I'm kind of low on it being 66, which you said 68, right? For Moore. So we're both kind of in that high 60s range. So I could see more though. I really could, because of the screens, because of the pop passes, because of the
even think about when they put him, they might put him in the backfield as a running back. We saw him do that a decent amount, and he might catch the screen out of the backfield as a running back.
Yeah. He can legitimately run the ball too. It's not just like, a receiver who gets it on an end around. Like, he has legitimate ability as a running back too. So, Mr. Stay with the Blick said bias is what a wise history teacher told me is what casual fans do. Do you know that guy, I guess?
I think so. I think he said, "What's up, Mr. Smith?" last time. So
okay.
I just don't know what student it is.
Mike Rubio said, Joe, if I'm ever 40 and trolling another team's live stream, you have permission to shoot me a full mag center mass. No comment.
I'm missing that comment. I can't read it. I don't know where it is.
It's like 3 or 4 up. Don't you watch it, or like you're somehow behind all the time or something like that? I don't know why. That was harsh, little JK. Listen, I'm not a softie. I just can't say I'm gonna shoot somebody. Talk to me in private. So receiving yards. Who is it? I'm assuming it's your that actually could be a different conversation, because Davis and Mims are guys who might get more yards per catch. Like, Mims was at like 15 last year. So you're talking about Moore getting a lot of receptions because of the pop passes, because of the screens, but does he have as much yards as a Davis or as a Mims? I'm assuming would be your other guys who are competing for this. So who is your receiving yards leader, and with how much?
I also have Moore for the receiving yards leader. I have him at 875, which is something like 12 something yards a catch. Not quite 13.
Dude, we are absurdly close on the stats. Like, it's weird. So you had 68 and 875. I had 66 and 872 for Davis.
Wow.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I didn't bring this up. The receiving leader for the Jets last year. Do I even have that? Yeah, I do. No, where the hell is it? Yeah, there it is. Do you know who it was?
Receiving yard. It's Crowder.
Yeah, Crowder.
And he had like 6 something. It wasn't even 700.
No, 699.
Yeah.
With 59 receptions.
And dude, being on that dog shit team last year, he still balled out.
How many touchdowns did he have? I'm trying to see. This is not like the best laid out stats. 6 touchdowns. So it's kind of a similar thing. Jordan says Davis 822. Yeah, I had Davis at 872. You had Moore at 875. That's pretty damn close on those. Not the same guys, but all of them have been really, really close so far. So Jets page confirmed the passing of Coach Knapp on Twitter. Yeah, prayers to his family, obviously. So next we have sacks. The sack leader.
Didn't you put receiving touchdowns next?
Sorry, receiving touchdowns next. Who is it?
Yeah. I have Denzel Mims with 10.
Wow. I would be ecstatic. If that was the case. I have
I wrote 9 initially, and I was like, hold on, there's an extra game. Let me go 10.
True. I have Davis, but I only have him at 7. Maybe I'm just lowballing him. I just think they're going to run the ball a lot, and I think they're going to spread it around a lot. Like that's going to be kind of my reason for a lot of the receiving stuff. Davis, 11 touchdowns, 925 yards. People are saying. Somebody says more 1,000 yards. Somebody says Mims has 915 yards. Hey, I would be ecstatic with all these numbers. I'm just a little bit lower just because of the talent and the depth, I think, at receiver. But I only have Davis at 7. So I have him as the receptions, receiving yards, and touchdown leader for the Jets. Is 7 too low, Kyle? I don't know.
I think so. And I'll tell you why, but I'm not going to tell you why right now.
Okay. Yosh Breed says, if that happens, I'm buying a Mims jersey. Yeah, listen, if Mims gets 10 touchdowns, that's really, really exciting.
Dude.
No, it's exciting because
Brandon Marshall had 15 with Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing him the ball with a worse offensive line. And now there's an extra game in the season too. So
that, and I think people, because of a couple of bad reports from camp or whatever, mini camp, whatever the hell it was, are really down on Mims. When Mims was playing,
talk about that more.
When Mims was playing with Joe Flacco last year, not Sam Darnold, because Joe Flacco, I don't care about your stats, anything you're going to bring up with this, whatever, made receivers look better. And when he played, was it the Chargers, the Patriots, all those games, Mims was having like 60, 70, 80 yards, even 50 yards, was making some really impressive plays. Darnold came in and he disappeared. Is there a correlation? Yes.
Yeah.
And that was with Mims being injured, no training camp, no preseason, and missing the first 4, 5, 6 games he missed, and he came against the Bills week 7 or 8, whatever that was. So people are down on Mims because he doesn't fit this offense, which tell me how. I still don't get it because Kyle, again, another thing that comes out is, this is a yak offense. Mims isn't a yak guy. Kyle,
dude,
why is Mims not a yak guy? Dude, tell me why.
Watch him against the Patriots last year. They're throwing him passes, and he's stiff-arming the shit out of those Patriots defensive backs, literally throwing them on the ground and getting yards after the catch. What are you talking about?
Mims had the second most contested college catches in college football, correct? Yes. Mm-hmm. Mims ran a lot of fade routes in college football. Yes. What is the route that is the least conducive to getting yak yards? A fade route, literally. Yeah. In the entire, and out of every single route, a fade is the least chance you have of getting extra yards. A 9, you can run after the catch. A fade is completely different. So yes, he ran a lot of fades, didn't get yak yardage. There's a complete difference. If he was running slants and bubbles and overs, it's a different situation. We saw it last year. So he is a yak guy, and he can't run routes. He didn't do it in college. Kyle, did you watch the breakdown of him in college with me and Marcus Coleman? Marcus Coleman played NFL DB for 11 years. He seemed pretty impressed with his route running. Now, the thing with him in his rookie year that I saw was he was rushing his releases. He's kept doing the same thing over and over again, and he didn't use shuffle releases and hop steps and skips. He just took one step and tried to get to his outside or get to the inside, so he's rushing them.
And he wouldn't get his ass down enough on his breaks.
Yeah, so he had things to work on, but to say he can't run routes and he can't get yak are bullshit. So you have that paired with that narrative paired with him having a bad camp or whatever, because he worked with the second team. If that's even a bad camp, I don't know. They could have been trying to use him in a different look or whatever. We can't really tell. Now people are low on him like he's the 4th or 5th guy. So, 10 receptions 10 receiving touchdowns is plausible. People are just thinking he's going to be a bust now, which I think is a joke because his film from Baylor and from what we saw last year, minus Sam Darnold, it was all pretty damn impressive for me or to me. So.
Yeah, I think he's highly motivated too. He still feels slighted about what happened to him in the draft 2 years ago. And he just had an unfortunate, circumstances his rookie year with Darnold. And Flacco pushed the ball down the field way better than Darnold. And that obviously suits Mim's skill set better. But kudos to Joe Blewett for, I know what you want to call it, reporting, journalism, whatever, research, because that Mims stat that Joe Blewett just cited about all the fades that Mims ran in college, which is not at all conducive to getting yards after the catch. I don't remember anyone else saying that. And one thing you'll notice about football and Twitter is it's very much groupthinky. a lot of people say the same things over and over again. I don't remember anyone else saying that other than Blewett. And it is so true. Go and watch Blewett's breakdown of Mims. It's on the Jet X Factor website.
Yeah,
I don't know how it's like 2.5 hours, maybe even 3 hours. Because I think it's 2 parts.
Yeah, 2 parts. Yeah.
I don't know how you can watch that and come away and think, okay, this kid doesn't have really exceptional talent. He still has to, stay healthy and, obviously have a good rapport with the quarterback and refine some things. But, his catching ability is really, really special.
I don't think he is like, and people compare him like a slow, plodding receiver or anything like that. Do I think he's a 4.38 guy? No, not necessarily. But yeah, and you're right. It's groupthink. You need one guy with a couple thousand followers to say something like that who might not be knowledgeable what he's talking about at all. And then everybody just picks it up and recites it. And now it's the new opinion that's factual, which is complete bullshit. So it's out there. He can run routes. He just needs to hone in on a little bit. And the whole yak thing is complete bullshit too. He might not be, whoever's a really good yak guy, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham in his prime, one of these guys, but he can get some yak. That is for sure. If you just watch the games last year, you saw it when he got the ball, he got some yak.
Yeah. So my thinking with that was this: I wouldn't be shocked if Mims caught 3 or 4 fades on the goal line for touchdowns this year, but he's not just that. You could see him. I can see him catching digs over the middle for 100%. A touchdown.
If there's one guy I want going for a contested ball, it's probably Mims.
Yeah, I could see him running a curl and stopping short in the end zone. I could see him, I could see him just beating a guy straight deep from 25 yards out for a touchdown. I could see him beating guys on posts for touchdowns. So, Yeah,
people think it's a one-dimensional vertical threat, which is not true. It's just not true.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Did you tell me your? No, you did tell me yours. Okay.
Yeah. I said Corey Davis, 66, 8, 72, and 7.
Okay, so why don't we go sacks and you tell me yours first this time?
Oh, okay. All right.
I've been going first every time so far.
And I have Lawson, and I have him at 11.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who or what or where I saw this, but somebody said, Lawson, a lot of his pressures came from Dunlap running the quarterback into him. And somebody said that it was Dunlap and Geno Atkins. Dunlap played like 7 games, got traded to the Seahawks and was not good all year. And Geno Atkins played like 7 games and had 1 tackle all year because he was injured and on the COVID list and is not as effective at 33 years old, whatever it is. He's not on a team right now. So the reason that Lawson had all of his pressures, Kyle, is because of Geno Atkins, who had 1 tackle last year, and Dunlap was on the team for 6 games. So.
For you to type out a response like that on, I'm assuming it's Twitter, that takes an extra level of stupidity.
And I'm not going to say who this was. And this person was trashing Jets fans for not knowing how good the defensive line was and how ignorant Jets fans are. And then he brought up that about the Bengals.
That takes an extra level of dedication and stupidity. That's beyond me. But I have Carl Lawson as the sack leader as well with 9. And I could easily see him getting 9. Over 10 if he stays healthy, but I think he's going to miss a couple games just because that's kind of been his MO for his career.
Like so many of the plays I put up of that guy in that review were him getting within centimeters of sacking the quarterback. And how many more sacks would we have got last year if you just put Quinn Williams on the Bengals or JFM or Rankins and like the quarterback could not step up into the pocket, like at least another 2 or 3 at the minimum.
And by the way, since we're talking stats and we're talking about refuting that idiot who just said that stupid stat about Atkins and Dunlap, I'm trying to think where the stat came from. I saw it the other day and I saw that Brandon Thorne, I think he either liked it or retweeted it. And I respect the hell out of Brandon Thorne's trench analysis. But there was a stat and it showed like the top 5 guys who got pressure on the quarterback last year. And I think obviously Aaron Donald was at the top. Carl Lawson was like 4th, but the stat was this: who had the most first pressures to the quarterback? Because in any given play, you could have multiple guys that get pressure on the quarterback, but who's the guy who's getting the first pressure? Because think about that for a moment.
Oh, so you're telling me it wasn't Geno Atkins who was running? Lawson to pressures. Oh,
So
okay.
this stat means that Lawson is the one who's getting to the quarterback first, moving him off his spot.
Okay. I was just confused. That's why I thought.
Yeah, and all the other guys you're going to see in that stat category, if I can find it real quick, I'll retweet it.
It was. I think it was Aaron Donald, JJ
Miles
Watt,
Garrett,
Garrett,
TJ Watt, not JJ.
Oh, okay. I think it was TJ and JJ.
Maybe okay, yeah, maybe.
I think it was TJ, JJ,
So
Garrett.
you're talking the elite
Donald
of the elite
and
right
Lawson.
there. So this is what you call creating, pass rushing creating. This is something. So I remember a couple years ago when Olivier Vernon was set to hit free agency, and I'd watched a lot of his tape because I used to do a show where I used to break down all the AFC East.
So you
Olivier Vernon. We're talking a lot of shit tonight.
It comes.
Anyway, so Olivier Vernon was a good player. I'm not acting like he's not, but he scored very highly amongst PFF. Like PFF had him ranked super duper high, and they had him as the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 free agent set to hit the market that year. And when you looked at his tape, clearly the better pass rusher was Cameron Wake. Cameron Wake was the creator there. Cameron Wake would get to the quarterback quicker, chase him in OV's direction, and OV would still get a pressure. He wasn't a bad player, but Cameron Wake was the creator there. Mm-hmm. So I know that Lawson doesn't have the sack numbers, but make no mistake about it. This guy gets to the quarterback a lot. He gets there quick. All right. And if he could stay healthy, boy, oh boy, are we in for a treat. So, yeah.
We have some people said, JFM 11 sacks, Lawson 10.5, Lawson 11, Hugh and Lawson tied with 10. I could see both of those. We have a Raiders fan in here who's being cordial. Welcome, Raiders fan. I like you, not the Lions fans.
I'll be honest, all the Raiders fans I know are pretty cool.
Yeah,
and I know a decent amount.
He says, "Good luck, Jets. Why hasn't Poole been signed by anyone? Either one, he's asking for too much money." One, he's asking for too much money, maybe waiting for the right situation. He might be waiting for an injury in camp to sign to a contender. You don't really know. A lot of people bring up that with the Jets in terms of him being signed. Again, he played under Ulbrich, or not under Ulbrich. It wasn't his defense, but he was on a staff when Poole was there with the Falcons. The Falcons let him go for pretty cheap to the Jets. And when I watched what he did in 2017, 18, or 19, whatever it was with the Falcons, I wasn't overly impressed.
He was way better with the Jets. Yeah,
way better with the Jets. So whatever they were asking him to do, and I don't remember off the top of my head, I've done thousands of plays for you guys on the thing. Which, by the way, Sir Manser said he never misses a film review of mine, which I appreciate you, sir. Sir, it's got a funny name. So. I was not very impressed with what he did with the Falcons. I thought he could have been a decent guy, for the $3 million he got. And then obviously he balled out more with the Jets. So I'm not sure why he signed. It could be money. It could be a lot of different things. I don't really know, but that's what I don't think. So good luck to the Raiders too. I'm cool. I'm cool with the Raiders. So if you come here, you said, "Hey, what do you think about the Lions this year?" We could be honest and just talk about it. I'm cool with that. But if you're going to come here and be an ass with 115 Jets fans, 117, including you and I, and maybe Sabo was in the background somewhere. I don't know what he's doing right now. Then you're talking about 118, We have an Eagles fan.
I don't know if Sabo's listening, but somebody, I think it was Eagle, was saying, "I want to hear Sabo make his appearance." I don't think Sabo saw it.
We have an Eagles fan in here too.
By the way, with the Raiders fan, after I was praising Raiders fans, I remember that you have a dick Raiders fan for a friend. You used to talk about him all the time.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that guy, but I'm not gonna throw that all, whatever. Let's see. We have an Eagles fan in here too. I can say to the Eagles fan, Brian Dawkins is my favorite player of all time, no matter what teams. So I love those teams of Brian Westbrook and Donovan McNabb and Brian Dawkins, all them. So I don't hate them either. And if the Jets just moved to London, it would be a real battle between the Baltimore Ravens and the Eagles for my team. I don't know who I would pick. I need to be able to go to games though, so I need to be within driving distance. So it'd be one of those. I just don't know who would be.
Thankfully, you didn't say the Giants.
No. Ravens or Eagles. I just don't know what I would do. I would say obviously the Ravens situation is better than the Eagles right now.
I would choose the Ravens much more than the Eagles
because of the situation. I'm talking about the fan base too. The Eagles fan base is rowdy. You know,
Yeah,
it's
but
like I want to go to the Eagles game and see him to get stabbed, you know, like they might at the Eagles game.
They can be pretty mean.
Yeah, they can. But yeah, Dawkins is my favorite player of all time. So moving on. Or actually with this, I said Lawson 11. You said
9.
Lawson 9.
I said 9. And
now, how many do you think Q has?
yeah, I thought he'll probably have like around 8. I'm guessing.
So I'm a little bit higher on how many sacks they're gonna get. I said Lawson 11. I said Q 9, and what I have written down. So I think they'll both be pretty high. And then again, now with that, you have Curry and you have JFM, and you still have Rankins too. So this defensive line, dude, like now it's going to be less effective because of the secondary, but it's still going to make a pretty big impact. Now, if you hold this group together and you bring in a good secondary next year, they're like really, really going to feast. So their numbers might not bear out how good they actually are this year in terms of like like I said, the stat humpers out there. But they are still very, very good. Stefan said,
no, it's Steven. It's just spelled Stefan.
Oh, it is Steven.
Yes.
I'm going to keep calling him Stefan or Engel. I'm just going to call him Engel. So he said, show yourself. And then somebody said they appreciate good football talk. I appreciate that. I think that's from the Raiders fan or the Eagles fan. I forget which one. What does it take on Jared Davis? How many sacks and interceptions does he have this year? Somebody asked that. That's not in my stat thing, so we can talk about that now. Sacks and interceptions. Steven. It's Steven. But it's Stefan.
If I remember, he's not a bad blitzer. He's
that's his best trait.
Yeah,
he's a blitzer.
So you could see him. Remember, David Harris had a couple years with the Jets, first couple years of Rex Ryan, where he had like 8.5 sacks, something like that, and a lot of it was just straight blitzing up the A gap. So I could see Jared Davis scooping up a couple sacks like that, but I wouldn't imagine him having numbers like that.
No, not 9, 10, 11. I just think that
might have like 2 sacks. I could see that.
He's not a guy like, and especially with Salah's defense, he's not a guy who likes to blitz a lot. He likes to send 7 guys back in coverage. But I think if there is going to be one guy to blitz, and typically in San Francisco, well, it would be obviously one of his linebackers or a slot corner. So I think either one of the linebackers, you're laughing at something in the chat. I don't know what it is yet.
No, I'm laughing at it's not CJ Mosley. You're not going to send him on a blitz.
Oh, somebody said that. No, he's not. That's his biggest weakness. He's not a good blitzer. He's not.
It's weird. It's weird. It's weird that he's so good at so many other things, but not that. Is this strange?
Yeah, he kind of like almost like a running back. Like he almost gears down into contact. Like he kind of just he'll get low enough. He'll kind of just throw his hands out there and kind of like stop. Like he doesn't just run through guys. Like Davis, in terms of we'll talk about this later, he is a bat out of hell. If anybody on this team is, he's a bat out of hell. So I think if there is that 5th guy blitzing or that 5th guy coming on a rush, it is Davis. So I could see him having 2 or 3 interceptions. 2, maybe 1. He's not a great guy in coverage, but because of his speed, he might be able to get on an exit angle and cut off, or get underneath a route that a quarterback doesn't see or something like that. But it's not going to be from like recognition or anything like that. It could be, but I doubt it. Somebody said Q will have 9 or 10, or Sir said it. Devin Maxwell. I don't know if I've seen you before.
I'm surprised. Based on how high Joe Blewett is on Quinnen Williams, I'm surprised he didn't say Quinnen Williams is going to have 15 sacks. When I was writing this down, I was thinking
conversation for a different day.
I was thinking maybe Joe's going to pick Quinnen for this stat.
Devin Maxwell, again, I don't know if I've seen him before, but I don't know if you have, Kyle, but welcome if it's your first time. Who is going to be our biggest difference maker on offense and defense? For me, it's Becton on offense and Mosley on D. I say
Zach
on
Wilson, man.
I was going to say we have to exclude Zach Wilson from that because the biggest difference maker is the quarterback. That's obvious.
Yeah.
And I would say, other than that, I would say it's Becton. And I think it's pretty clear. I think if we got into a conversation about that, it's clear. He's the best player on the offensive line right now. And in terms of the impact he's going to make is because, is he going to be injured or is he not? That's also in terms of impactfulness. He has to stay on the field, and if he's out, it's going to make a massive impact that he's injured, where ABT is probably going to be healthy. So I would say definitely Becton. Defense.
Hey, but we got George Fan as a backup. You could do much worse.
Oh, you could do. I venture to say he's a top 5 backup tackle in the league.
Yeah.
He's getting paid $10 million as a backup right now.
Yeah.
And he wasn't bad last year. He's a little bit below average, but he wasn't bad.
But I will say, and I know he played left tackle when he was with the Seahawks. When he came in for Becton for those 2 or so games last year, He was worse on the left from what I remember.
He was, but when I watched him in Seattle, that's when his uptick came when he was at left tackle.
Yeah. So
maybe just take some adjusting a couple of games to get back.
Yeah,
into the flow of
exactly.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now on defense, I think Mosley's a good bet. I think Mosley's a good one too, because that linebacker core is so thin where obviously, you'd say Lawson and Q are better players than Mosley at this point, but Mosley is still very, very good. But if Q or Lawson goes down, they're not replaceable, but they're more replaceable than if Mosley goes down. If Mosley goes down, excuse my French, we are fucked. Like there is nobody.
What are you talking about? We got Blake Cashman.
Oh yeah, he'll go down picking Mosley up from his injury.
Very true.
Yeah. So no, we're screwed. So
hey, but he won't miss any tackles though.
Let's not start on that either. Yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy. And what do you know? Who put that stat out there?
It was PFF, wasn't it?
Was it? If it was PFF, like that's exactly.
It was
the
like
reason
the college. It was like the college PFF account. I'm pretty sure.
Like he never missed a tackle. Literally, like the second play I watched him in college, he brutally missed a tackle. I'm like, what are they talking about here? But yeah, I would say Mosley is the biggest impact, and I'm not saying in terms of the best. I'm just saying in terms of you can't replace him. On the defensive line. You could work around not having a Q or a Lawson for a game. Mosley, we're screwed. And even with safety, Maye goes down. You have Joyner, you have Davis, but still better than having Cashman or Sherwood or whoever it may be.
And we have such a good case study from last year. I mean, not last year, 2 years ago when Mosley went down. I mean, we were killing it in the Bills game. They couldn't do anything on offense. After Mosley goes down, they start marching all up and down the field. Quinnen missed a couple games last year. Obviously it hurt not having him there, but I don't think it was not nearly the impact that losing Mosley was for sure.
Yeah. Ryan Thompson said, will Mosley return to form or break every bone in his body again? One, he opted out and he tore his Achilles. And I've said it before.
Tore his Achilles. It was
groin. Sorry. Tore his groin. Which I also did in high school. It's not fun. Yeah, so I don't think he's like injury prone. He never really has been. They just rushed him back. He opted out, I think, because of the Jets situation, because of Gase, to be completely honest. It could have been because of COVID, but if I had to guess, it's because of the situation the Jets were in. And Mosley was never a guy who thrived on athleticism. Like, he's a good athlete, but he's a smart freaking player. Like, that's why he's good. It's not because he's a uber elite athlete. So I'm pretty bullish on Mosley being a pretty damn good linebacker this year. Maybe he's not to his 2018, 2019 Ravens form, but I think he's going to be a very, very plus linebacker. And I think that's being pretty safe. Like, if you told me, hey, Mosley made the Pro Bowl this year, I wouldn't debate you.
Yeah. I mean, I could see him. I mean, he's not going to be Fred Warner or Bobby Wagner, I don't assume, but I wouldn't even be that shocked if he's like the fifth-ish best inside linebacker in the league.
Yeah, and before he was like the third, but if he's like five, if I had to bet, he's like the seventh best inside linebacker in the league this year. Steven said, Joe, get to the Monmouth County Fair so I can meet you and shake your hand. Okay, hold on. I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna leave the live stream to go meet Steven. Steven, go to a freaking Jets game, man. I've been telling everybody in the chat. Carolina game, message me. I'll let you know where I am. I'm not going to some big bar or some big tailgate because I don't give a shit. But if you want to come and chill with me and drink some beers and meet Kyle and Joe, Vinny, and the Jets, or meet Vinny and Tom and all the guys I usually tailgate with, then come on by. The Patriots game, I'll be there. Other games, I'll be there. So you could see me smoke Joe Blewett,
running some routes in the parking lot.
No.
You could see him opening his gate too quick when he tries to cover me.
The funny thing is, if people came, I couldn't even play. Like, and it's not like I'm bad at football, but like I would get judged so hard because of the stuff I do. Like, I cannot screw up, which obviously I would. Let's see. But you're not burning me on a route. So defensive line, because I think you got probably 30 pounds on me. You'll beat me.
How much
offensive
you weigh
line?
right now?
Yeah. I'm like 185, 190.
I'm 220 right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you got like 30 pounds of me. So a route, you were saying you're more of like a Ronald Blair straight line type athlete. So, maybe it's a vertical.
Dude, man, like I told you. So for the listeners out there, I got a little summer gig coaching football to like younger kids. I'm not like on a staff or anything like that. But like I'm teaching a lot of kids who never even played football before. and I'm running routes demonstrating for them and stuff because all the other coaches are like big linemen as well. So like using me to run routes. And I told you guys, I've learned a lot from watching Joe Blewett's, especially from watching his receiver and defensive back analysis. And I'm like using different releases and stuff. And I swear.
Would you hot step?
So my route running, I was using the Rashad Perriman skips.
No, hop.
Oh yeah, he's the hop.
He's a hop. He's not a skip. Yeah, Amari Cooper's a big skip guy. He's a hop guy. So let's see. Cashman hurt his shoulder picking him up. I don't know if you saw that from me, but that's what I said. Eagle, you usually have good takes, but this one's not good. Cashman is going to get cut due to too slow and does not play a lot. He doesn't play a lot because he's injured. I agree with that. He's not slow though. He's actually a pretty damn good athlete when he's on the field. He's actually pretty fast.
But he's actually a really bad tackler. And I mean, just forget college for a moment. When he had to play a decent amount of reps his rookie year, he was missing tackles all over the field.
Yeah, he was. You embarrassed me, said you literally just identified the fundamental principle of sports commentary, groupthink. I don't know if he's really early in the review, but we talked about groupthink. So I guess he's far back and commented maybe. I don't know. Let's see the other chats. He has Sir has his tickets for 9/12 already. Dude, let me know. I'll be at the game. I'll be at some bars the night before. I'll be at some bars after. Would love to meet some of you guys. That's awesome. That'd be really cool. Mike said one day I like some film breakdowns on Joe versus Kyle drunk in the parking lot. Well, the problem is Kyle doesn't drink, so I'll be the only one drunk, and that's a very unfair advantage to me because I will gas out and throw up while Kyle is completely sober and hydrated. So, and
then you'll just use it as an excuse.
Like, oh, dude, come on. Mike said like 10K sub special or something like that. We'll see. We'll get to 10K. That's gonna happen.
Speaking of subs, if you've been watching this for a while and you're not subscribed to the channel,
we have like 4.5 thousand subscribers. We had 8,600 views last show. So what's going on here, people?
Yeah, a lot more you guys need to be subscribing.
Yeah, come on. And if you don't have to subscribe to the website, which I hope you do, but at least to YouTube. Moving on. I had Lawson at 11. You had Lawson at 9. I had Q at 9. You had Q at.
I said 8 for Q.
Pretty close. Interceptions.
Marcus Maye 5.
That's higher than he's ever got.
He's trying to ball out for a contract this year, and he's got better defensive coaching this year.
He's gonna be playing more in the box though.
And they're gonna have a better pass rush this year, so quarterback's gonna have to get balls out quicker. What do you mean he's going to be playing in the box more? That's
what they've been saying. Apparently, through the people with inside information on the Jets, they've been saying he's going to play in the box.
Really, honestly, that's news to me, and that's
again.
I don't like that news, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, I mentioned it before, so I don't know if I didn't question it. And I don't know even who this source is, but there's been a decent amount of sources saying the Jets are looking to play him more high and low this year, where last year he was strictly high, and that's why I said I don't like Maye in the box a lot. And if he does play in the box more this year, it's slightly concerning.
Well, they have to be honest, business-wise, they have to test Ashton Davis out there because they need to know for next year, okay, is Ashton the guy moving forward, or are we going to have to look at other guys in free agency?
Yeah, I said Maye, but I only said 3, which Jeff Sanders said the same thing, 3.
I thought about Hall initially, but then I was like, Hall, injuries, and, corners – especially when you play more zone, you can get more picks. But I don't know. And what did Hall have last year? He had at least 2 picks last year. Was it 2 or 3?
2, I think.
I feel like
Jared Goff and who else?
I feel like there was one
2?
more.
Somebody drop in the chat. Somebody help me out here.
Yeah.
I think it was I remember the Rams pick, which was good. I think slightly overrated pick, to be completely honest. But I like the actual interception. But in terms of how nice of a play it was, like him reading Goff, like he was kind of just sitting there in a shallow zone and just saw Goff just looking at him and threw it. And he's like, oh, okay. And caught it with one hand. Like, that's awesome. But in terms of like whatever. And the thing with like him having a lot of interceptions too is a lot of interceptions come from like being uber athletic and like being able to like cut off a route.
Some like Xavier Howard interceptions.
Yeah. And he's not necessarily that guy. So, whatever. But I'm gonna say Maye with 3. I could also see CJ Mosley getting 3 or 4 though. Because Mosley is very, very, very underrated in coverage. Very underrated. He is good. Eagle said time stamping last year felt like 20 years in prison, which, by the way, somebody said earlier that the reviews last year of the games when they were bad were like 30 or like 20 minutes, which is not true. They're all like an hour or 2. But he said time stamping last year felt like 20 years in prison, but at least I showed my loyalty as a fan and to the site and still will. Yes, I appreciate Eagle Fang time stamping, which is clutch, because if somebody comes to a 2-hour stream or a 2-hour show and they say, well, I don't want to watch all these 2 hours, but they say, I want to watch the Zach Wilson breakdown. You put Zach Wilson breakdown at 25 minutes in there. And then what are you opening, Kyle? You're opening something.
I'm opening a protein bar. Do you
I
have
I heard crinkles, and then I saw your mic.
And then
go red.
I was considerate to mute the mic, and you still had to call me out.
Why not? You know why? Because payback's a bitch. Because I was trying to fix my TV before you said, if you want me to just talk while you're fixing your TV. So that's why I had to ask you what you're opening. Okay, yeah. So he only had 1 interception last year, Hall, and it was on Goff. So it's the only one I can remember. Yeah. So I have Maye at 3. Tackles for loss, Kyle.
You might be happy with me for this one, although I'm not sure with you because
Quinnen Williams is not that good. He's like an average.
No, I have Quinnen Williams at 15.
Okay. I have Quinnen Williams at 14.
Which is like, I think 5 more than he had last year. Oh, wow. I have more than you.
Yeah, I have Quinnen Williams at 14. And it's not necessarily an indictment on like him not being a good player. I just think there's a lot more talent on the team this year to get those tackles for losses.
Sure. Yeah.
As well. So I have him at
including
14.
Mosley in that category, not just defensive line. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff Sanders, Blitz Austin's gonna have more missed tackles in game 1 than Hall will have all season.
I have a feeling Blitz Austin's gonna come up a lot tonight.
We'll see if we get to him. Moving on. Tackles for loss, we both are pretty similar. Tackles.
Say yours.
No, go ahead.
I've been saying mine first.
I insist. Talk with your mouth full. Go ahead. I insist.
Jackass. I got Mosley at 120.
I have Mosley at 107. I'm a little bit lower I think in all of these. And again,
I gotta be honest. I wrote some of these stats, and then I thought to myself, but there's an extra game now, so I increased some of them a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Again, just the talent around it. That's just what I felt. It's not like that's a hard number to predict in terms of like how many tackles or something to get. So I had Mosley at 107. Hopefully he's healthy enough to get all those tackles. The next one we had in there, and again, some of these I might not have told you about, but who cares? I guess Wilson's stats for this year.
Yeah.
This one's hard.
So for Wilson's stats, the ones I wrote down were yards per attempt, passing touchdowns, interceptions, rushing yards, passing yards, and completion percentage.
God damn, you go ahead because I didn't do all that.
And you said Wilson's stats. All right. So for yards per attempt, I had 7.2.
What's the league average?
It's somewhere in the 7s. I know that.
Oh, I think Legend Killer.
Darnold had
Legend Killer said 62 touchdowns. I agree.
Wait, who had what 62 touchdowns?
Wilson's going to have 62 touchdowns this year.
Oh, well, put him in the Hall of Fame already. Sign me up. Yeah, I got 7.2 yards per attempt, which maybe that seems a little underwhelming. Sam Darnold had like 6.1 or 6.2 last year, which is horrible.
Yeah,
I felt that this was a fair number. Honestly, he could have a decent amount more than this, and I would not be surprised. But yeah, that's what I wrote down. Are you not doing that stat, or are you just gonna?
So I'm gonna go through all mine.
Okay.
So we had a 4,107 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks. I'm actually relatively close to that. We had a 3,600, 24 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. This is what I have. 25 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 3,655 yards, which is 215 per. Again, the Jets are going to try to run the ball. That's what I'm going to say with that. Don't like, only 3,000. They're going to run the ball a lot if they're able to. 67 completion percentage, which is above league average. League average is 66.4, at least last year. And I think just based on the play action, how much they're going to run the ball, he's going to have some more open windows to throw to. And also with his receivers, they're going to be open. Like they have plus receiver group this year for the first time in like ever, pretty much, minus like 2015 and back to the 2010 and stuff like that. So that's what I have him at. I don't know if that's too high, too low. I think
I lowballed his completion percentage, to be honest.
Really,
but maybe,
with
but
the
maybe
play
I'm just
action and all that.
Yeah, no, that's why after you're just talking about the nature of this offense and stuff, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't like the stat that I wrote. It should probably
change
be
it.
higher.
You didn't say it yet. You didn't change it. You didn't say it yet.
Well, I'm just going to be transparent and say what I said, and then I'm going to increase it a little bit. All right, so I initially wrote down 61%.
Oh, dude,
yeah, which is what Darnold had his second year.
And that year was like underwhelming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
Ugh.
I'll put it to 63, and that still might be lowballing it, but whatever. Yeah. So with the Wilson stats, we have the same amount of interceptions, 14. Touchdowns, I initially wrote a number, and then I increased it by 5. And what made me do that is I was just flicking through social media, and I think it was Schefter that posted like Justin Herbert's stats last year. And Justin Herbert had 31 touchdowns and 10 picks last year and like 4,000 something passing yards. And then I was thinking,
look at the team. And
I was like, hold on a moment. Justin Herbert with theoretically worse coaching and with, I would say, overall a worse receiving core and with a horrible offensive line.
Let's not even say the receiving. Let's say the receiving core was equal to even better. That offensive line was dog shit. Like really, really, really bad. Wilson's walking into at least an average offensive line, I would say.
Yeah.
That's not even close to what the Chargers had last year. And he had, like you just said his stats. So
yeah. And then like and Herbert wasn't even the starter for the very first game. So he had to share a lot of the training camp reps and stuff too. So I was thinking, hold on, Herbert was a way better prospect. I mean, Wilson was a way better prospect than Herbert, in my opinion. And if Herbert can put up those types of numbers, I'm extremely high on Zach, and I like the situation he's coming into. Why am I going to lowball my guy just out of not being biased? So you know what? Maybe my bias shows here, but whatever. I got Zach Wilson with 32 passing touchdowns.
Doesn't that break the record?
For the Jets, yes, for sure.
Isn't it like 30 or 31?
Fitzpatrick, yeah.
30?
Is it Fitzpatrick? I think it is Fitzpatrick. Didn't he have 29 that year with Marshall and
30,
Decker?
whatever it was.
Yeah.
30. Okay, yeah, again. So I have 25 and 14.
I initially wrote 27, but after I saw that Herbert stat, I was like, I got to increase it for my guy Wilson.
The 25 comes from running the ball more. The 14 comes from, I think that will drop throughout his career, and he wasn't a gunslinger like necessarily like a Darnold was, where he didn't necessarily see guys. But I think some of those interceptions will come from him trying to fit balls into windows that he could in college, that he'll have to learn in the NFL. He can't, which I still think he'll fit him into some tight windows, but he's have to learn. And in terms of the defenses, he didn't see a ton of really overly complex rotations and stuff like that at BYU. He's going to see some things in the NFL that confuse him undoubtedly. So that's where that comes from, the 14 picks. That will drop. But yeah, 25, 14, 3, 6, 5, 5, 67 completion percentage. And I can see that being a little bit higher. We have some people at 31. I don't know what Eagle's talking about. Oh, don't make jokes to Brian Baldy or bash his work. He'll make a comment and then block you. I guess he got blocked by Baldy. I've made my stance on Baldy known. That's the groupthink type stuff where it's like, oh my God, look, we've done this before. He's look at how much he moved Donald on this play. It's like, yeah, he was trying to actually get in front of Donald. He was, whatever. It was that some of those breakdowns he does are terrible. Like it's not good film breakdown. That's all I'm going to say. I think he could do a lot better work, but I think he tries to appease the fan bases for 5 minutes of his clips so people follow him and like it. But in terms of the quality of the work, it's really, really bad. That just is what it is. So Fitz was 31 touchdowns and 17 picks in 2015, Sir said.
There's a couple Wilson stats I haven't read off yet.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I wrote He'll have 2 rushing touchdowns, 100 rushing yards, and 4,100 passing yards.
Sign me up. You're a little bit higher. Like I think the rushing yards are pretty.
And plus, it's also 17 games now too. I also factored that in.
I think you're pretty on the spot with the rushing stuff. The passing, you're a little bit higher than me with the stats, but you're a little bit lower than the completion percentage.
Yeah, I like I said, I could be swayed to change that.
Yeah, so interesting. I would sign up for either one of our stats. Like, where I want this interceptions to be a little bit lower on mine, yes, but if you could sign up for 25, 14, 3-6 this year, would you take it with 67 completion percentage? Would you be satisfied with that rookie year?
Can you ask me one more time, please?
25 touchdowns, 14 picks, 3,655 yards, 67 completion percentage with your rushing stats. Let's put in there.
No, I'm not signing up for that. I'll take the odds that it could be worse because I think there's a good chance that it could be better than that.
Okay. Hey, I'm cool with that. And I think I've learned a lot about quarterbacks since 2017 when I did Darnold. I was only breaking down film for probably 2 years at that point, where now it's been 6-ish. So I definitely learned a lot more since then. And I should have taken into account more of Darnold's really bad decisions in college, where I was kind of like, but those are the really nice plays, so that's something I didn't consider enough. And I was still high on Darnold. It's just, I was being a little bit biased, to be completely honest. And that's what you kind of have to work through, I think, initially. So next, we have so many things to get into still. The offensive, did I tell you this one? The offense's rank. Yeah.
Oh, I thought, no, you didn't tell me that one.
No. So the offense, where do we rank at the end of the year? I don't know how they come up with these stats, but where do we rank in the league this year in offense?
Yeah,
this OVA or whatever the hell it is.
Oh, well, the DVOA. Okay, so I can
I
can give a brief explanation for that. That's not how the NFL, like when you watch most of the stats on broadcasts of games, they're just talking about total yards, which is such a bullshit way to score an offense.
No, you could be a great offense and you're up in a game and you want to just run the ball and get 4 yards per game to chew the clock, and that's still a really good offense, but won't be good for DVOA.
Yeah. And let's be honest. I mean, Rex Ryan's first 2 years, the Jets defense was really good. But one thing that those teams lacked a lot of is they didn't get a lot of turnovers. So they were always good in not giving up a lot of yards, but there were some teams that were forcing like 30 turnovers a year, and Rex's teams weren't getting anything close to that. And that turnovers obviously change a game a lot. So anyway, but DVOA, based on what I remember, they scored total yards in a very different way. So like, if you gain 1 yard on like a 3rd and 1, they factor that yard in, and it weighs a lot more on their system than if you gained 9 yards on a 3rd and 17. So those stat geeks over there at like Football Outsiders that do DVOA, they somehow crunch all those numbers. But I think when you look at things like that, when you take in yards that way, that is a much better depiction of how the defense is actually playing or how good the offense is playing.
Quickly, we had a couple of people. I think this is Wilson's touchdowns. Jordan says 23. Ryan says 25. Jeff has 22. Mike has 18. Mike, you're way too low, my friend.
Dude, remember Justin Herbert, man. Look at that situation. Justin Herbert 31 last year.
That's like 1 every game, and then 2 in one game. I see the Jets offense being a lot more effective than that. Eagle Fang said, when you are a winner, it's easy to be a homer, but when you are losing, you have to be honest, which sucks doing when you're a Jets fan. There's also the opposite of that, where Jets fans, because they've seen so many shitty players, when they have a decent player, they tend to overrate him. I'm not going to say name. There's names out there. Bless Austin. He's not even decent. But Jeremy Crevette.
So Eagle Fang or someone should do like a Bless Austin name count. How many times he gets brought up tonight? Because I have a feeling it's going to be a lot.
Jeremy says, I don't know if I've seen Jeremy here before. I'm pretty sure I've seen him on Ryan's channel. I used to do those. So welcome, Jeremy, to the channel. I don't know if you're new to this. I don't know if I've seen in chat. He said, if you had $10,000 waiting, if you were right on the over-under passing touchdowns for Zach at 27, what say you? Well, Kyle predicted 32. I predicted 25. So Kyle's going to take the over. I'm going to take the under. Right?
Zach Wilson is starting week 1. 17 games if he's healthy. Look at the situation he's in. I'm not acting like he's coming into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense.
Does that include rushing touchdowns? Because if rushing touchdowns, I'm taking the over. If that's included, or is that passing?
I think
he said passing. He said passing touchdowns. I literally read it and I still forgot.
Dude, I'm not taking the under. I'm not taking.
We had under. So Jeff, it's just a funny response. Like I kind of read it like how I think would say it, and I don't even know him. But he said,
let's also think about this too with Wilson. Wilson started 30 games in college. This is another thing.
Yeah,
I haven't tweeted in like a while now, and I've been on Twitter. I just haven't been tweeting a lot. But the one thing that I tweeted recently was I was having a conversation with two of the other coaches that I've been coaching with. And one of the guys said, Zach Wilson is like Mitch Trubisky. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, they don't play anything alike. What are you talking about? He's like, we only started 1 year. I was like, what are you talking about? He started 3 years.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this a thing? Like, are people saying this? That
I didn't see anything about that.
Zach Wilson started 30 games in college. Yes, it was at BYU, but he still started 30 games in college. So, I mean, we're not talking about, and he was really damn good last year. So, I mean, is there going to be a learning curve? Yes. But is it going to be as big as a learning curve as someone like, what's the guy who went 3 from North Dakota State?
Oh, Trey Lance.
What did he start? 12 games total in college?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I think it's 12,
at North Dakota State. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, the 23, 25, 22, 18 were for the offensive rank, not for the passing touchdowns. So that's my fault. Let's say, Jeff Center said I'd go under 2. That's 10K Lamo. I guess imagine like that's a funny response to me. I don't know why. 16 interceptions. Ooh, yeah, that's okay.
I don't think he's going to throw that many picks.
I watch you film. I watch you. Okay, so you watch the film. Obviously didn't mean to type it like that. You embarrassment said your problem with subscribers is your content is too high quality, mass media, 99% garbage. Watch Good Morning Football for 10 minutes. No comment, but I appreciate that you embarrassed me. By
the way, that's not what Joe Blewett's going for. I mean,
no, I think he's saying we're doing too high quality stuff to get some subscribers.
I know because
they want the WFAN.
I understood exactly what he was saying, but here's the deal. This is how I described it before, and I don't know that Joe actually liked the way I described it, but I'll stick with it. I said that Joe has obviously there are Jets Twitter people out there that have a bigger following than him, but the way I described it is Joe has like a cult-like following that might not be as big as some of the others, but they're extremely dedicated. And then look, you have a couple guys in here right now that say they watch every single one of your shows, and you're talking that's how many hundreds of hours of Jets film every year.
Yeah.
Right. Like that shows an extreme level of dedication, but that's what Joe's going for, and it might be a slower build than what some other people are doing, but the numbers speak for itself of how many more people are subscribing to the site, subscribing to the channel. The numbers are building and stuff, which means that, a lot of people do want the clickbaity type of Manish Mehta nonsense crap, but the intelligent people out there that really want to learn more and stuff, there is some kind of desire out there, and it is growing, that more and more people want quality content like that. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And like I said, there's and I think it's kind of, I'm not even gonna say it. There's a lot of channels and a lot of media out there where people will talk very, very strongly about players and have really strong opinions. And then when you ask them to describe what they think about Jamie and Sherwood's game, they have no idea, and they can't tell you what a defense is. They can't tell you what a route is. They can't tell you anything. So if you want that, then that is that's your prerogative. Like, people talk about really strong opinions, have no idea about football. I don't know why you care about their opinion, but that's beyond me. That's not what we're doing here.
Hey, so, John said he just joined.
John.
Oh,
subscribe. Did you subscribe or go to the website? Which one did you do? Did you subscribe to the YouTube or did you subscribe to the website? Both are awesome. One is more awesome.
Yes.
We had someone else in here. Mike says, Joe is giving actual people film breakdowns, reason behind the thinking, or reason behind the thinking. Where else do you get that? Nowhere. Appreciate that. I know.
Hey,
way
I
more
got a
about
question for you, Joe. I got a question.
He finished it. He finished it. I know way more about football watching this stuff. I'm an ignorant fan, but I can understand methodology. Good. Look at the big words Mike's using. What do you say?
So my question for you, Joe, is obviously you have people in here right now and people that are going to watch this that are relatively unfamiliar with your work. So my question for you would be is if someone's going to sign up for the free month of JetX and they don't have all the time in the world and they can only watch one of your breakdowns, which one would you tell them to watch?
In terms of learning stuff?
Learning stuff plus entertainment, factor in all that. If you had one that you feel like you did a really good job breaking down, all that factor in.
Well, like you said, I think the offense, the receiver and corners are really good. In terms of like my perspective, I think, like you said, they're probably what I do best, but also offensive line stuff. Like people don't really learn a lot about offensive line. So can I give two? I would say either Corey Davis with Marcus Coleman or AVT.
Okay.
Because not a lot of people know what they're talking about offensive line. That's very clear. And having Marcus Coleman and me talking film.
And people are sleeping on Corey.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of appreciation in the chat.
And the
Steven.
AVT,
thank you.
The AVT one's long. It's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you brought up. There are some things I brought up on there that nobody brought up. But doesn't matter who it is. Didn't bring up.
I said that a couple.
Appreciate you, Steven. Jeremy said he learned some stuff about the Michael Carter one. I appreciate that. Brandon said some kind stuff too. I appreciate all you guys. I do. There's other channels. They go on for 2 hours a week. The film reviews take how many hours does it take out to put a 2-hour film review on YouTube? It takes me 20. So moving on, offensive rank. We didn't even get to that. We got into the chat a lot.
So we're doing offensive rank in terms of DVOA.
No, whatever. Screw the stupid stats out there. If you could just boil it down to whatever Kyle Smith's rankings are for offenses, where you think they finish. I'm not going by stats.
I'll say 16.
Okay. I have them at 18. So pretty close. I think they're going to be a league average offense.
I won't be shocked if they're above average, man.
You look and the only problem I see with that is the only like kind of fight back to that is the youngness of the team, the youngness of the staff, like the newness to it. So I can see them kind of having to learn. But the running back position, the tight end position. But like you look at the receiver core, you look at the offensive line, I think they're both above average. Zach Wilson, what is he going to be in year one? But they're definitely working themselves to being above average offense. Like they heavily invested into it. And even them just being average, we should be ecstatic with average. And obviously that's an indictment on the past of the Jets. But when's the last time we've seen an average offense? Like again, 2015.
Yeah.
And that was with a Fitzpatrick who threw 31 touchdowns, where how many of those were jump balls to Marshall? He had a good year. He had
a ton of picks. And I mean, Ivory had 800 something yards. I mean,
dude, Ivory's one of my most underrated Jets. I'm a big Ivory guy. That is a weird fact. That is my wife's favorite Jets player. She just loved Chris Ivory. I don't know why.
The hair. It's the hair.
It's not the hair because she loved, because I think one of the games she watched was it the Dolphins game where he trucked 4 dudes at the line of scrimmage and then ran for a touchdown
in London.
Was it London? She was uber.
Oh no.
I remember.
No. The one where he trucked 4 dudes was at MetLife, but he had a beastly run in London too.
He had a lot of beastly runs.
And Brandon Marshall abused Brent Grimes in London, and I'm very happy with that because Brent Grimes' wife is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's
a bitch.
I didn't want to say the word.
Whatever.
You said it.
Appreciate you, Verge.
By the way, I'm not blocked by many people on Twitter. She's one person that has me blocked.
A lot of people agree with us with the offense. Steven says middle of the pack. Mike says 18. Max says top 15. Hey, again, like Kyle said, if they were 15th, 14th, 13th with the schedule, considering that too, I could see it. Jordan says somewhere between 20 and 25. I could see 20, 25. I would be disappointed.
25. Oh my
20
God,
would be
no
like my
way.
floor. 25 is too low though. I do think. So moving on, defensive rank. Obviously knew that was coming after offensive rank.
Yeah, this one's going to be worse for sure. I'll say 21. I don't know.
I have a 19th defense.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say 21.
I feel like
they have serious problems in the secondary.
They have serious problems in the secondary, but the thing with that, and again, you always have to consider. Well, and again, now I'm kind of getting into the stats more because I'm saying like consider the schedule they're playing, but like they're not playing a lot of good quarterbacks this year. I said 19th.
That is true.
Oh, so did Jordan. So it's like they don't. Wow, we had 2 guys say 19 in the chat too. So, I don't see a lot of quarterbacks who are truly threatening on the schedule, but at the same time, if we're talking about the actual defense and how good they are, they have some serious problems in the secondary, obviously, and even at linebacker too. I guess you're laughing at breadcrumbs and Henry Anderson's wife has you blocked on.
I'm trying to see, does Henry, what's her handle? Because I'm trying to see if she has me blocked because I'm not sure if that's true.
I just knew she retweeted a lot of good stuff, like a lot of stuff of mine, or like quote tweeted it the first year when Henry Anderson was good. And after that point, she stayed away because then I was like, this freaking idiot is hitting guys after the snap and all this stuff. And she was not as friendly to me. Offensive rookie of the year, Kyle.
Okay, let me go back because I'm fooling around right now. Wilson, dude, I went back and forth with him and Moore, and I said it's got to be Wilson, man.
Yeah, I don't want to change anything I wrote down because I don't want you to like let you influence me, but I'm going Moore, which is hard because if you think Moore is going to have a good year and he's gonna be offensive rookie of the year, who is throwing him the ball and who has obviously who's going to have more clout? It's the quarterback. But again, it's just kind of like my own rankings. Like, who do I think will be better, I guess, at their position in year one, you know? So I would say Moore.
Well, that's fair. But so for me, part of the reason how, and again, a lot of these times, sometimes when people get in debates, it's like, how are you defining terms? Like, how are you defining this? And for me, offensive rookie of the year, you know, usually it's like a quarterback. So not always, because they factor in how much does this position impact the team. And, you know, Wilson is going to have a bigger impact. And I think it's going to be a very positive impact overall. So that's the biggest reason why I chose him.
We got,
but I do agree with you that I think that, dude, Moore could be like a Pro Bowl dominant type of guy. Like, AJ Brown had a dominant rookie year. Would we be shocked? I'm not saying dominate in the same type of ways because AJ Brown's a lot more powerful than Elijah Moore, but I'm saying a similar level of dominance that this guy's already going to be special. Like, I think you'll see more special things from Moore this year than you will from Wilson this year.
Yeah. So I if I had to bet on one, it's really Wilson if I had to put money on it. But in terms of like them being more impressive at their position, I would say it's Moore. Like, I could see Moore having a huge impact.
By the way, for those in the chat that might be confused, Joe and I are just referring to Jets players right now for rookie of the year.
Yeah,
we're not talking about throughout the league.
We had some Zachs. We had one more. We had a Fields, which I like Fields. I'm just not super high on Fields, and we talked about
we already
Fields
talked about it today
in a lot of length, and I did a breakdown on him too, and like a lot of his touchdowns were super wide open. But
that's the first thing I noticed when I started watching him, like after week 2 this year, because I knew that there was a shot that we could have like an atrocious season
again. And I could probably put it. I don't know exactly where it'd be in the chat, but like, when I did not know if the Jets would draft Wilson or Fields, I think I watched Wilson. No, did I watch Fields first? I think I watched Fields first. I was kind of like not as impressed as I thought I would be. And then I watched Wilson. I'm like, yep, that's my guy. And again, we've talked about this so many freaking times, but like, just because he played at Ohio State, but he was also throwing into a lot more open windows than Wilson was, like very, very open windows. But because Wilson played at BYU and his windows were a lot tighter, it doesn't matter. He played at BYU, so he's not as good of a quarterback. It's so stupid. But it's an inside joke. I don't know.
And with Fields, it's like their running game was so dominant that they were never like, it was not very frequently that they had to play behind on the sticks. I didn't see him in so many 3rd and long situations where he was like converting and moving the sticks.
Kyle, do you remember that? Do you remember that guy? Sorry, do you remember that guy who criticized one of my film breakdowns, and then you asked him to provide an example?
Yeah, and he never responded.
He never responded. He's like the guy who hates me on like all of Jets YouTube and all of Jets Twitter. Jeremy just said Grant Rude might come after you. Like
that's his name?
That's the guy. It was Grant Rude who said my film breakdowns are terrible. Like, okay, provided an example, and he just never answered, and I just blocked him. Like that guy's just such a little douche. I don't even care. I hate that. That guy's.
Hey, I'm still waiting for someone in the chat to tell me Henry Anderson's wife's Twitter handle.
That's the same guy, by the way, who brought up that Bengals stat. I wasn't gonna say the name, but since he brought up, that's the same guy. So
he's figures. Really dumb. I mean,
yeah. We're
talking about like a 69 IQ person,
but he claims to be very, very smart and woke knowledgeable. Like he's just very smart guy. So yeah, that guy is I hate that guy. So with that being said, I don't even hate him because the whole reason that happened was because he came out with me like some like stupid argument, like trying to make a big tough guy, and I called him like an egg on Twitter, and he just lost it. Now he just hates me and criticizes my stuff all the time and whatever because I called him an egg and he got offended. So moving on, defensive rookie of the year. This is kind of hard. This is harder to me.
I put Isaiah Dunn.
Wow. Okay. Hey, I could see it too. I put Michael Carter the second because I think he has a slot job right to start. I'm not sure about if it's gonna be Dunn or Pinnock or Bless Austin or whoever it's gonna
Austin, be. Ricky. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
you were talking about the starter.
Yeah,
the starter.
So
sorry.
I said Carter the second. I don't think it's an overly interesting conversation here. I think he's gonna be starting the slot. I think he could also be Guidry. But with Dunn, who I think makes the team, we're having a really interesting discussion about corners on that 53-man roster prediction. Jeremy says he loves us now. Yeah, that again.
Why? Because of the Grant Rude stuff?
I guess he commented on one of Jeremy's articles or something like that and was criticizing or something like that. Yeah, that guy is like a fake smart guy who, if you actually look into what he says, is really, really stupid. That was the Bengals thing. I called him an egg, and he hates it. Now Eagles putting out some eggs in there. So, Hamsa's a good one too. So I'm gonna put Hamsa in there. Not a bad one. And I think he might be the starting Will too. So if I had to, Carter 2 or Hamsa. That's a tough.
Hamsa was a name I considered. I didn't really give Carter the second much consideration, to be honest.
Wow, really? I just think he's gonna be the starter. I think he's like the not necessarily lock though, because you also have Guidry though, so it's kind of hard.
Well, yeah. See, I see where you're coming from. You're saying it's more of like, okay, well, he fits a need more.
Like he's gonna be playing the most, so he's gonna make the most impact kind of thing.
But I just think that Dunn is the better player, and better players eventually will find their way on the field. And when they do get on the field, they will play better. So that was kind of the way I thought about it.
People are hating on this egg guy now. Yeah, if you see that guy, just give him the egg or bring up the Bengals stat where he's talking about
everyone should just go trash him on Twitter right now.
Oh, please, dude. Yeah, because he's a big YouTube guy and he comments on everything and all this stuff. And like I said, I saw that Bengals thing. I don't know if it was like green beans or it was somebody's stream, and I read it. I'm like what? Like Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap are the reason that Lawson got pressures. I'm like, you clearly didn't watch. That's one. Just look up their stats. Geno Atkins had 1 tackle last year and was injured like all year. And Dunlap was off the team by week 7 or 8. Like, what are you talking about? So that guy's a scrub. So Carter to Hamsa. I might change it to Hamsa, but you kind of get what I'm saying with Carter just getting the most snaps. Rookie of the year.
That's easy. You should know what I'm gonna say.
Well, you're gonna say Zach Wilson. And I said Moore for the same reason I said offensive rookie of the year. Again, I just think in terms of like their ranking at their position, I think Moore is going to be a better receiver year one than Wilson will be a quarterback. But in terms of like their actual impact, like who will get more clout, it's going to be Wilson.
Yeah, I think unless like Elijah Moore is like a legit top 10 receiver this year, if Zach Wilson plays like pretty good, there's no way that you can't give it to Wilson anyway. Unless just like Moore is just like next level dominance. Like Moore would have to be like significantly better at his respective position than Wilson would have to be at his respective position for him to get this award over him. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of going versus like my thoughts on who would win it versus like what the consensus like.
Yeah.
What's a word I'm looking for? The consensus like
like what
needs
the
for
AP
it,
writers would vote.
Yes. Like whatever the general consensus, like rookie of the year, like whatever they go off of for that. I'm talking about like what me personally, like who am I going to personally think was like the best as a rookie relative to their position is kind of what I'm talking about. And how can Moore be good without Zach? Again, that's more of a stats conversation. Moore could be running great routes and Zach not see him or not get the ball. Receiver can be very good without a quarterback being good. Look at
and like
Denzel Mims last year with Darnold
or could take like a couple end arounds to the house, and that would be Zach Wilson would basically be doing nothing on a play like that. So
next one we have offensive player of the year. So now we move past the rookies.
Yeah, I picked Becton for this.
Same.
Yeah.
Squared. Yeah, it's I think he's the best player on the offense right now. That's just as simple as it gets. I think he was a top 10-ish left tackle last year. I think some of his play was overrated. I still think he has some things to work on. Again, one of the biggest things for the run game.
Shoots his hands too high.
His hands are too high, which again it happens with guys who are tall because just the natural point where their arms come out is going to be higher. So as a taller guy, you really have to focus to get your hands a lot lower. And the big thing within the run game is, I love all the sexy plays where he throws guys around. Really want to see him climb that tree, get wide, work off his insteps, get tight elbows and climb those guys, not try to throw them because you saw him sometimes last year throw guys and then they use their lateral athleticism because now they just broke contact to get around them. And now they make the tackle on the running back. So I don't want to see him trying to throw guys as much. It's bring your feet with you and hold on them, do that quarter turn, lock your elbows in, that type of stuff we talk about with the offensive line film. So I need to see more of that from back.
So much of the throws came with one hand and one arm. And it's going to be harder to control a guy when you're just using one. And I get it. It's, one arm is longer than two when you can extend it like that, but he can use that initially to kind of get, to define the gap, but then get that left hand in and then start driving him with the short choppy steps. I'd like to see more of that.
Jeff Sanders asks opinion on McGovern. Kyle, you want to answer that real quick? And I'm going to run to the little boys room. And then I'll throw my opinion on that.
Little boys room. That's interesting. Okay. So McGovern, I think that he got a lot of shit and everyone's just kind of clowning. Oh, this was a terrible signing. This was a terrible signing. I know the PFF rating early in the year was not good at all. I know he only really started 1 year in Denver, but honestly, I watched his film last year, every game, focused on the offensive line a lot, and I was decently impressed. And in terms of centers, comparing him to what we've had since Mangold, he's definitely the best. I can say that for sure. He's really good at reaching people on outside zone. And let's say he's obviously the center. Let's say he's got a one technique shaded on one side of him. He's very good at getting his head across and flipping his ass and sealing a guy that way. He gets to the second level pretty good. And, sometimes he's not the best at latching on the linebacker. So that's something he struggles with, but this is not a bad center. Not a bad center at all. I mean, did he live up to the expectations? I mean, Joe Blewett put out a really long film review on him, and If I remember correctly, because it's a little while now, Joe, I think, said borderline top 10 center. He was definitely nowhere close to that, but
Yeah, I was
he's
in
certainly
like,
around the average range. You could do a lot worse, and the Jets have had a lot worse over recent years.
yeah, I think I remember saying like anywhere in like that 12, 13 type range. I could have said 10 to 13 or something like that, but I knew I wasn't like top 10. But I think beginning of the year, he definitely struggled, and towards the end of the year, he started to improve. Really athletic guy, and he struggled in terms of like you said. I heard you saying when I came back, he's a little bit top heavy on the second level, and the guard play and not having good guard play really can make a center look bad, or any position on the offensive line. Any guy next to you who plays bad can really make you look shitty. So for like the casuals out there, like he might look like absolute ass in some plays where really it was like the guard didn't pass off that stunt correctly.
And he was good. He was good at that
position.
in Denver, though. Like this Denver tape, he was really good at that.
So I think last year he was a disappointment. This year, do I think he'll be an average league starting center? I do. 15, 16, even 14, 15, 16. I think he's gonna be around that. So I think he's about an average center. So people act like he's trash. He's not. I think he's about average. So moving on,
Jets fans don't have to worry about center.
Yeah, no. So maybe in the future, what's his replacement going to be? Because I think he signed a 3-year contract, right? I think it was a 3-year contract. So after next year, you might, and obviously, if the 2022 draft has a guy in the second round who's supposed to be a first-round pick, you take him, he beats out McGovern, you cut him or trade him. Yeah, that's an option. But am I looking to replace him over looking for a replacement for the right guard position, corner, tight end, right guard, running back, all that first? No, I'm not saying they need a replacement for running back. I'm just saying they need another guy there in the future. The running back room is still not good. Let's be honest. Defensive player of the year.
You'd say yours first.
Quentin Williams.
Yeah. I said the same thing.
Because he's good?
He is good. You never heard me say anything to the contrary.
I just you insinuate a lot that he's just like an average.
You say he's elite. I don't say he's elite.
I didn't say he was elite last year. I said he was elite at the end of the year, and this year he'll be a top 3 interior defensive lineman in the league. I said top 3, top 5.
I'm gonna be extremely happy. I was so souped when we picked him. He's a very likable guy too.
That was the worst because that's when I proposed in Niagara Falls, and I planned that in like November, and then I realized like, holy shit, I planned that trip for the weekend of the draft. And the day I was doing it is the first round. And we went to dinner early and everything. She was cool. Like, okay, let's go to dinner early. Like, I get you have the draft. And then I try to get an Uber back to the hotel. And apparently Canada has no freaking Ubers.
What?
There's nobody around Niagara Falls, which makes no sense. Like no Ubers, no lifts. So it's like, okay, shit, we have to walk back to the hotel, which is like 3 miles. And with that being said, they don't have connection. Like they didn't have like LT available anywhere. So the only thing I can do is call somebody. So I actually called Scott Mason, and then he told me the pick as it was coming, which is like a shitty way to know, but like I had to know because I had no internet. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it is what it is, So yeah, I have Quinn Williams. I think.
By the way, remember the rumors that started surfing, and they were, people, especially the week leading up to the draft, the smoke rumors go through the roof. But there was a lot of stuff saying, oh, Greg Williams really loves Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver might be the Jets pick at 3. And thank God it wasn't. And my brother's a Bills fan, and my brother still loves Ed Oliver. But of
course he does. Sammy Watkins is better than Khalil Mack too.
He finally admitted his errors on that one.
There you go.
I don't think Ed Oliver's really been playing that good.
Dude, I put out reviews on both of those guys too. And again, people with like the flashy athleticism are always going to be like the more highly respected guys on Twitter because let's be honest, a lot of people don't really know what they're talking about. So they see explosion. They're like, oh, this is the best guy ever. And Q was explosive, but a lot of his wins in college came on the technical side of it. Like he was an elite technician in college. So people overrated Ed Oliver. And then there was a lot of people when that was happening were saying, oh, I prefer Ed Oliver over Q. Could not be more wrong. I don't think I think 32 out of 32 GMs in the NFL had Quinn Williams over Ed Oliver. I severely doubt that any GM had Ed Oliver over Quinn Williams. I just cannot see that. He was a much better player in college. Ed Oliver at Houston was a lot of duck your head and just explode into a guy and hope you blow him back. The technique was lacking in a lot of ways.
By the way, just for the record, because who knows might clip what or whatever. I mean, I checked Ed Oliver's PFF grade, and take that with a grain of salt, and it was horrible. And I really doubt Ed Oliver's been as bad as his PFF grade suggested. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people expected him to be really dominant, and everything I've read and the games I've watched of Ed Oliver, which is 4 or 5 of his coaches' films or whatever, something like that, I just haven't been thoroughly impressed. I mean, you can definitely see some of the athleticism there and stuff, but yeah. So anyway,
by the way, there's been a big argument on Twitter, and I've seen like a couple people put votes up for it. Do you say you're going to have a catch? Like when you're going to, do you say have a catch or do you say go to play catch? Like throw a ball, throw a baseball. Do you say have a catch or play catch? It's been like a big thing.
Play catch.
Yeah, me too.
Play catch.
Who the hell says have a catch? Is this like, are we
Must
like
be
England
a
in like
British
18?
thing.
Let's say like England in like 1850. Like, what is this? Have a catch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing that float around, so I don't know what the hell that's about. I think every single person who I know has said play catch. I'd never heard anybody say have a catch. Is it like a Midwest thing?
I couldn't tell you where that comes
Does
from.
anybody in the chat say have a catch? Like what is this?
I mean, I've said let's play catch too, but
no, you say let's play catch or
yeah, no, but
catch.
I'm saying, but even more than that, I would just say let's go throw the ball around.
Yeah, well, I don't say let's play catch. It's like a 5-year-old says.
Yeah,
you say like, oh, let's throw the football, but like let's what was the other one? Have a catch.
Have a catch.
How do you have a catch?
Would you like to have a catch?
Yeah.
Would you come have a catch with me?
Yeah. How do you? Yeah, it's such a weird thing to have a catch.
You want to go to the team captains?
No, we're going to the MVP of the team.
Oh.
You skipped this freaking category, Kyle.
So listen, Blewett, Blewett's going to get his heart on for this one.
MVP, Quinnen Williams, baby.
Hey, I wrote the same thing.
Because why, Kyle? Because he's the best player on the team, right?
Listen, you said that last stream, and I didn't dispute you on that.
I know.
The parting of the ways between us is you, dude. All right, people in the chat, and maybe if we got some new people that weren't here last week, Joe Blewett and I got into a big argument last week.
Can you before you do this?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, like 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Can you preface this correctly so I don't have to even comment? Can you actually say correctly what I said?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
And if you want the full context of the debate, argument, whatever you want to call it, just watch towards the end of the last stream that we did. All right. So Joe Blewett proposed a scenario to me. I don't even know how he got on there. It was like something if you were like starting a new team or something like that. And it started off initially as, would you trade Carl Lawson and Quinnen Williams for Aaron Donald? And then it kind of transitioned to, would you trade Quinnen Williams for Aaron Donald? For me, that's a no-brainer, even considering the contract. And Joe's like, well, Aaron Donald's 30 years old. I was like, yeah, I know, Joe, but he's Aaron Donald.
You better watch your eyes. You're rolling your eyes and stuff a lot right now. I'm not feeling respected here.
All right. So Thorne put out his trench rankings, and he broke them down into like 4 tiers: top 50 trench players, offense and defense. Aaron Donald was the only one in tier 1, which he considered unique. And when I was reading that, I was like, yeah, this is kind of how I view him as well. There's no other player anything like him.
He is that, but how much longer is he going to be like that?
And my whole thing was, I could definitely see it for another 3-4-ish years. And as you have Wilson on his rookie contract and you're making a Super Bowl push in the next 2 to 3 years,
okay,
I would still take Aaron Donald over the assumption that Quinnen Williams, by the way, has Aaron Donald missed 1 game in his career? I'm not sure that he has. Quinnen has missed several in his career.
So and you're bringing this up just to be a douche. I get it. But what we did after this was you said some teacher quote. You said, if people couldn't agree on the terms of the argument, there would not be a lot of arguments.
Be a lot less debates. Yeah.
And what we said was, if you're going for the next 3 or 4 years, yes, you want Donald if you're making that Super Bowl push. But if you're talking about Donald for the next 10 years versus Quinn Williams for the next 10 years, I'm taking Quinn Williams every day of the week because I'm trying to compete for year 5, 6, 7, 8 of Quinn Williams' career, where he's going to be, 29, 30, 31, where Donald will be out of the league. So
let me ask you a question. Let's say that Quinnen doesn't really get any better than what he was last year.
At the end of last year?
At the end of last year, because any player in a season has their ups and downs. Totality.
Okay, so last year he was a top 10 interior defensive lineman to me.
Okay, towards the bottom of the top 10, you would say, maybe.
I would say that in totality, yes, but at the end of the year, I would say he's not 5 to 6 range.
Okay, so let's say that he stays at that level, and then he wants an Aaron Donald like contract. Is that such an easy decision to make
in 3 years? Now we're bringing up contracts. I'm just talking about like level of play.
But I'm just saying, you're talking about Quinnen for the next 10 years. You also got to factor in paying the dude as well.
He deserves it. What's the contract? I don't know what it is.
I don't hate Q, Jeff Sanders. I have 2 Jets jerseys on the team right now. I got Zach Wilson and Quinnen Williams.
He just thinks Q is average.
I don't think he's average. I think he's good. He's very slippery. He's a smart defensive lineman. I just don't think that he's overly athletic. I don't think he's overly explosive. And I don't think he's that strong either, to be honest.
Okay. If we agree on the terms of the argument, we agree. Next 3 or 4 years, it's Donald. If you were starting a brand new team today in a redraft of the entire league, Quinn Williams is a higher pick than Donald, assuming you're not going to make a run to the Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Anyway, for what it's worth, let's move on, Joe, so we can get it's 8:25.
So
I have Quinnen Williams as the MVP.
On who?
Quinnen Williams, MVP.
Okay.
For the Jets, over Zach Wilson, over Mekhi Becton, over CJ Mosley, over Elijah Moore and Denzel Mims. Yeah.
Okay. So team captains is the next one we have.
How many did you pick?
5.
I picked 3.
I think it's usually 5.
Yeah. I just had a tough time picking the other 2. So I just picked 3 and I stood with it. I know that usually one of them is a special teams guy. So I guess one of them, I'll add a 4th. I'll have 4. I'll say Justin Hardy will be one of them as well.
Michael Sarace. I don't know how to say that. That says Kyle probably liked Bob Baumhauer over Joe Klecko. I don't know who Bob Baumhauer is anyway. So
not true. I like tough interior defensive linemen, and Joe Klecko was that. So no.
Quinnen still needs to lose his baby fat. I don't think he has. I think he lost that, to be honest. He's pretty slender.
He definitely leaned up from year 1 to year 2 for sure.
Yeah, and he's like 290, 295. Maybe 300 at max.
He's listed at 303. And didn't you say 1 show ago that he was playing in the 280s? I was like, nah, he's like,
no, I think I said like 285. I was like, no, you're right. Like probably like low 290s. I think that's what he plays at. I could be wrong though. You're talking about 10 pounds on a 300-pound guy.
He definitely got in a better shape.
I don't think
it's his second year. And I think that's part of the reason. I mean, obviously, you learn so much from year 1 to year 2, but I definitely think especially later in games, he was still good late in games. So
we have team captain. So who do you have? You have 4?
I have 4.
I think last year was 5. I think that's why I put that. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. I think you're right. It was Darnold, Fant, Matthias Farley.
Matthias Farley.
I'm having trouble remembering the other one. It was Crowder.
Yeah,
no. All right. Anyway, so here's what I wrote down. I only wrote 3, but I'm going to add Justin Hardy in there. CJ Mosley, Quinnen Williams, and Marcus Maye.
Okay.
Which I actually didn't pick one guy on offense, so I guess I have to pick one guy on offense. Becton doesn't really strike me as much of a leader, to be honest. And that's I'm not hating. I'm just saying he's still kind of like a kid in a way. And I don't mean disrespect by that. He just doesn't really strike me as a leader right now. I don't think they're going to give it to Wilson as a rookie either.
No, I had a weird one. You're going to be probably like, what, when I say this, but it's like, maybe you'll understand it. It's just because the team captains aren't always guys you expect, kind of.
Yeah.
So I also had Mosley. I think he's the unquestioned leader of the defense. Not the best, but the leader. Maye. Q, the best player on the team. Hardy, because bar none, he's the leader.
So that's 4 for 4 so far.
4 for 4. And I only have one more guy. I have McGovern.
Okay.
I
could see that. I could see that.
Oh, wow. Jeff Sanders. Good job. He guessed it. Yeah, McGovern. Don't necessarily know why, but I get the veteran on the offensive line. He's been here for 2 years now. Moses just got here. Beckton's still young. Davis just got here. Moore just got here. Mims is only in the second year. So I think if anybody, it would be McGovern for me on offense. I think Wilson year 2 and stuff like that. Beckton maybe year 3. But I think it would be McGovern. I don't know why, but that's kind of my feeling.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Okay,
I didn't think of that myself, so I'm not going to take credit for it.
Well, obviously, you did say it. Good job.
How many people do that though? They take credit for something they didn't come up with. A lot of people do. We
had this conversation off air. A lot of people. A lot of people take credit for stuff they didn't do. So I can see Corey Davis getting a C. I can too, Mike. It's just that it's his first year, so I don't know if his first year he would get it or not. I'm not sure, but I could definitely see him getting it. Crowder could be 1 too. He just got his contract cut though, so I don't know. I could definitely see Crowder though, but I would say McGovern.
Dude. I thought about Crowder and I was like, yeah, they just cut his contract. He ain't getting a C.
Yeah, I don't know, and George Fant too.
But maybe they would give him the C. They'll be like, yo, man, you did this for the team. We respect you. Here's a C.
Yeah. Do you take less money in your contract next year? We'll give you a C. Take those less $1 million.
Should keep Fant as a captain.
Hey, dude, if you're going to take a starting spot.
And he should keep 76.
Yeah, keep 76, even though Morgan Moses has it tattooed to his chest.
By the way, when I kept scrolling through the roster as I was typing up my responses for this.
What number is Moses?
He doesn't have a number yet.
He's not listed.
Because, you wonder, are they trying to discuss this? How's that going? That's what I would.
What number would he be? 74? Take Fant's old number?
That'd be Mangold's old number.
It's not retired.
You have to figure they're going to retire it, right? I mean, because look,
Mangold. Let's go through this. We're going to talk about this in a little bit, I think. So, superlatives now, which we're not getting through all this. We're going to have to move it again. We are going to be live every other Thursday. We're moving it up from once a month to twice a month now. Every Thursday, 6:00. There will be some weeks where I'm either in Antigua. There's one week I know I have to go to a wedding. We will move it to a Wednesday or to a Monday every once in a while, but every Thursday, 6:00, book it. We're gonna be here. Moving on, the superlatives. We threw a bunch of random stuff in here, and I know after a couple of hours we dropped, so we went from 80. We went from 120 to 80. So I appreciate the 80 who are in here. 81. If you want to throw out any superlatives in the chat, or your answers to them, then let me know. Where's the phone number? We did not have a phone number for this one because we had so many topics. We might cut off calls for the rest of some of the shows in the off season, but during the season, maybe we'll take calls again. I don't know. We just talk. Me and Kyle can talk so much that calls would make the show 7 hours when it's only supposed to be 3. And it's not 3. It's not a hard time. But some weeks, Kyle, by the way, we're gonna have to do 2. If I have a council meeting that day, we'll discuss that on a different time. Strongest player per square inch. You per square inch.
You say it first. I've been saying most mine first.
I have Jared Davis.
I didn't even really consider him. That's interesting.
Per square inch is a big. Obviously.
So I'm gonna tell you what I wrote down. I would have chosen Poole if he was still on the team.
I think I chose Screen last time we did this.
Him too. Yeah, I mean, dude, I hated Buster Screen for 1,000 reasons, but he could freaking lay a shot on someone, man.
He was physical as hell for a guy.
And he was like one. Yeah, exactly. But Poole, same type of deal with him. I chose Carl Lawson, dude.
We had a Carl Lawson in here. We also have a Braden Mann, which is a good point. It's a good point.
But Braden Mann's at least in the 200s, though, right? He's got to be like 200 pounds.
Yeah, maybe there's referring to him being a punter, but still,
that's interesting. But yeah, no way. Carl Lawson. I know he's 260, 265-ish pounds, but the dude is still a freak, man. And just look at the way he'll run into offensive tackles with one arm and just bully them back with that bull rush. You know, I considered someone like Fatukasi, but he's in the 300 pounds. So that's why I chose to go with Carl Lawson. But tell me more why you picked Davis. That's interesting.
He's like, I think, Fatukasi probably like 330. I think this guy, Hoof, has called you Ronnie like multiple times. I don't know if he thinks your name is Ronnie or you look like whoever Ronnie is or whatever.
It says my name on the screen.
Yeah, I know, but I think he's referred to you a couple times in the chat and called you Ronnie.
Oh, because of Ronald Blair.
There you go. There you go. That's good. There you go.
That's
Ronald
funny.
Blair. Ronald Blair / Fitzpatrick in the flesh. Yeah, dude, Davis just, again, you saw the film review. Like, that guy absolutely destroys offensive linemen sometimes at 235, 240 pounds, whatever he is. So I think it kind of comes into play with his aggressiveness as well, that I think he's so strong. But he's a beast, dude. Like, he will knock offensive linemen on their ass. So per square inch, I think he's the strongest player. I could definitely see Lawson though as well. That's Ronald Blair is also probably a good one though too. Like, for 270, I would say that he's definitely stronger than Lawson. Lawson just bull rushes better and stuff like that because of technique. But in terms of straight power, like Blair's 270, 280 versus Lawson's 260, I would say Blair over Lawson actually.
Yeah, he's definitely better at
setting.
He's
also not a bad one.
He's definitely better at setting an edge, that's for sure.
Bless Austin's a good one. I don't like Bless Austin. He is strong though.
Is he?
He lays shots. He can lay a shot, but he'll miss another 4 tackles before he does it.
I guess. Someone said Elijah Moore. I don't get that one at all. Elijah Moore, I mean, I'm not saying he's not strong, especially for his size. Like, I'm not questioning how much reps he can put up on the bench press, but you don't really see that on tape. He doesn't really want to get in there and block people. That's the biggest disappointment about his film, honestly. You know, he was just so passive. Like, dude, just at least try to throw a shot on a block.
Yeah. He wasn't really interested. Sir said, Joe, please make Kyle's font bigger. I guess that if we put that little edit into so does he deserve to go from like an 8 to a 9 or to a 10 now? I
guess I did something good.
Somebody says it's a Salah count. How much does Salah weigh though? I don't know how
dude,
much
Salah's tall. He's about 6'4", 6'5". He's got to be around 250, 260.
Yeah, he's strong. He's not. For coaches, they're talking about coaches in the NFL. He might be up there, but for a player, obviously not. You know. The next one, I don't know if I haven't told you this one. I just put a bunch of weird superlatives in here to be completely honest, because again, it's the end of July. What's the next one you have?
I would be the finger wag, and I would be utterly shocked if we don't have the same person here.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, most likely to finger wag on a dropped pass, which is something that infuriates Joe Blewett. Bless Austin.
No, easily, because he does it all the time.
I didn't have to think for 2 seconds for that.
No, he does it all the time. If you and Shaq Griffin did that last year to the Jets. Brashad Perriman, I think was it Brashad Perriman dropped.
You're talking about one arm Shaq Griffin?
No, he wasn't playing corner on Brashad Perriman. I'm talking about Shaquille.
Oh yeah.
What's it? It's Shaq Griffin and Shaquille Griffin? No, because Shaquille's Shaq, right? Who was the other one?
Shaquem.
I think Shaquem is the one with the.
I think Shaquem is the corner, but I could be wrong.
Okay, whatever Griffin plays corner, he did that to Brashad Perriman. I'm like, I hate that. You get beat. You see it on film. You guys all watch it as a corner group, all watch as a receiver group. You just got burned, and because he dropped the pass, you did a finger wag, or you did the arms crossed with the stare down. It's like, dude, you are such a freaking loser. I hate that. Hate that like beyond words. So when people do that, and somebody who does that more than I like already, and they haven't played NFL snap yet, is Pinnock. And I like Pinnock, but he did that in college. And I was like, dude, you got to chill.
And he got roasted a lot, man. His film was like a roller coaster, man. There would be some great plays where he's pressing guy one hand, then transitioning with the other hand flawlessly. And then there's another play where he's just getting cooked.
Somebody said, it's his film was so interesting where it was, elite reps, awful reps.
Yeah.
So if you can meet somewhere in the middle, that's great. Somebody said putting questions in just to hate on Bless. I just put it in there, maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe it's, I didn't even know I was doing it. The Godfather finger wag was Kyle Wilson. Yeah, it was. Tremaine Johnson did a lot too. I don't know why I put this in here. And this is just from what I've seen. The funniest player on the Jets.
Yeah, this wasn't easy for me to choose.
This was easy based on the videos I've watched from Jets, like who I think is funny when I see them, like, and how they interact with social media and the videos.
Do you follow a lot of them on social media? Because I don't.
No, it's more like the Jets, the videos the Jets put out on like Twitter and stuff like that. When like they're putting out like they'll put out like, are you afraid of clowns? When they're all like walking out of like the onto the field and like the guys will answer and stuff like that.
I did see that one.
Somebody has a good one. That's not my guy though. Keelan Cole is a good one, but not my guy.
So tell me who you chose.
Michael Carter, the running back. Every answer he has is like funny and like super like nonchalant about it, but it's hilarious. So
I'm gonna have to watch that. I didn't watch it. So.
Michael Carter is funny to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they put that in an after answer. I don't know what the delay is, but yeah, Michael Carter is funny when I watch him. Who do you have?
I love Michael Carter just for the fact that he juked the shit out of my student in the open field. Michael Carter. Remember I told you to bring up that play?
Oh, did I?
Boston College, one of my former students that I had for 3 years. He's a safety at Boston College. Michael Carter juked the shit out of him.
I don't know if I put that in my review. Did I find it?
You did. I told, dude, we had a live stream. I was like, pull up play 7 of Carter's film. I don't know if it was play 7.
Okay, I did.
Yeah, I don't know about Carter being funny. I have never really watched an interview with him. I don't think. I mean, maybe I saw a video of him when he got drafted.
So I guess you got to watch it. I guess I put 2 and 2 together. He said his response to clowns is hilarious. I guess when he's asked if he's afraid of clowns, whatever he said was funny. But I remember seeing a couple things with him where I was like, he's a funny freaking guy. Like he has my type of sense of humor. So yeah, I'm putting Michael Carter in there. That's my guy. I know like people think Q Becton.
I said Quinnen Williams, and not because like when he did. So I guess it was for Bleacher Report. He did like those things where they were making memes and stuff for Bleacher Report. When he was like performing, he's not that funny, but when he's just being Quinnen,
yeah,
he's funny. It's kind of like my dad. Like if my dad were to get up on stage and do stand-up comedy, he would suck. But my dad just has such these goofy mannerisms and stuff that makes him funny. So Quinnen's kind of like that.
So the next one I put is and I put fast, and I put fast per square inch. So
I understood what you were saying.
Yeah. So fast, who's the fastest player on the Jets?
All right. And I did not base this on a 40-yard dash. Because if it was a 40-yard dash, it would probably be Guidry. I would assume
that's who I put because of the 40-yard dash.
I didn't put him for that reason. I put based on, I mean, I factored 40-yard dash in there, but also how fast they play on the field. I put Elijah Moore. Just look at how many times he's burning guys deep, man.
Yeah. I guess if you're talking about like quickness and speed and stuff like that, I can see it. But like,
he's got the deep speed too.
Guidry is fast as hell too, though. But I think he's just overlooked because he's not like a.
Yeah, so all right, so here's the deal. Guidry's 4.27. What's more, 4.33 or 4.30? I think it's 4.33. I think it's like 4.33, which is unbelievably fast. So it's not that much of a difference. But then I have a lot more film where I see more and his deep speed showing on the field where I don't really have that much on film to really say, oh, Guidry is just a blazer on the field. So that's why
people are saying Elijah Moore for funny in the chat. I haven't seen him be funny in any of the interviews or anything like that.
He looks relatively serious.
He looks like a serious guy. He said he didn't know what a VHS tape was, but like somebody else said in the chat, does any guy who's like 21, 22 know what a VHS tape was? Like that was that's like, I was almost out of the era where VHS tapes were like popular. You know, like that's when I was like 7, 8, 9. And then like when I was like 8 or 9, that's when DVDs came out. So if you're 20 years old, 21 years old, you don't know what a VHS tape was.
I'm not that much older than you, man. I watched a ton of VHS tapes when I was younger.
Yeah, but until what age?
I don't remember what age I stopped watching VHS tapes, but
probably 13. because you're like 3 years older than me, and it was DVDs. So I could see a guy who's 20 not knowing what a VHS tape.
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
it was
I'm not- I'm
DVDs.
just saying between me and you, like.
Oh yeah, I know what a VHS is, and like like the Walkman. Like I love like all the memes I see of like taking the Walkman that was like this big and like trying to put it in your pocket. I don't know if you did that. Maybe you didn't.
I don't think I ever tried to shove a Walkman in my pocket.
You're too high class, I guess. You're pinky up. You had like a
How could you even do that? I mean, like
you got to shove it in there. That's
you like
how you
cutting
do it.
holes in your jeans and making your pockets bigger. Like
I didn't wear jeans as a kid. We were like sweatpants and basketball shorts. And you just got to get it in there. How else walk around with your headphones on? The ones that are like $5 that would break every second. It had like 13 of them.
days before Bluetooth.
Footwork is nuts. Yes, I did a whole breakdown on Moore's footwork. Somebody said Bless will be the fastest sprinting to the bench. Okay.
Someone said more timed at pro. That is true. I didn't even think of that.
Somebody said Eccles. Eccles is fast too. I'm Kyle. So I broke the seal, so I have to go to the bathroom again. But fastest per square inch, you answer. I'll be back.
All right, sure. So fastest per square inch, I said Mackay Becton. Dude's 370 pounds, and you guys all saw how fast he ran. Joe Blewett probably should have muted his mic because we can kind of hear what he's doing in the bathroom. But anyway, Mackay Becton, fastest per square inch. So the way I understood Joe's question was, okay, well, generally smaller guys, less heavier guys should be faster, right? So Mackay Becton, he obviously has insane speed for being that big. So that's why I chose him for this. And I'm almost positive that Joe Blewett will have the same answer as me. So anyway, until he comes back, he usually comes back. There he is. Did you hear my answer? Did you hear my answer?
No.
Next time you go to the quote little boys room, mute your mic.
Why? Could you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear the P?
Yes.
Oh, whatever. I don't care. I guess the people ask me why I go quick is because it comes out like a hose. It just is what it is. So my bad.
All right. So my answer was pretty obvious. I said I'm almost positive you had the same answer as me.
Han. So I said we said fastest per square inch.
Yeah.
I put Becton.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's so easy.
Obvious. Yeah.
JNCO's baby. Don't invite Joe to the penny till you pee. So it's funny because I'll go to Beer Fest, and it just depends on like the environment. I'll go to Beer Fest and I'll have like 9-10 beers and I won't pee. But then there's times where I'll go to dinner, I'll have 2 and I'll be like, dude, gotta do it. So it depends on the day. If I'm like sitting down not doing anything, it happens.
Hey, wait, look at this chat, bro. John Hassel. My father says, quote, have a catch. He grew up in Brooklyn in the 50s and 60s.
Okay, so maybe it's an England thing, or if you're like 60 years old, 70 years old, I guess. I don't know. I never heard anybody say have a catch in my life.
Yeah.
Wash your hands, man. I rinsed them, didn't wash them.
Oh, you're sick.
Dude, I got to get back to the podcast. It's okay. I'll clean it. You're not touching my laptop, are you?
So you can't trust me for an extra 10 seconds or whatever. You think I'm the...
It's not the easiest
This is why he wants to
discuss.
give me the small font. He really doesn't trust me. Can't even wash his hands.
Hey,
Jesus.
maybe if we did a podcast every week, a couple of years ago, it is what it is. Fastest per square inch, it's Becton easily.
I mean, you could go wash your hands now.
It's okay. It's okay, dude. Listen, this is okay. So this is a whole different discussion. When you poop, you definitely got to wash your hands. When you're peeing, unless you're a dirty person or you get pee in your hands for some reason, you're just touching skin. Like I feel like I'm pretty clean. I just showered. Is that a different discussion for a different day? Do you pee in the shower? This is a whole different thing.
Yeah, I guess we can discuss that.
Yeah, you were gone for 14 seconds. Bullshit. It was longer than that. Biggest hitter on the team.
Hey, Hoof says, Ronnie, we trust you. See, at least Hoof trusts me.
Hoof, I've never seen Hoof in here. I don't think, and he's a big Ronnie fan.
Hey, he's obviously been in here before. Well, at least he watched the last show.
Oh yeah, at least the last
Ronnie
one.
reference.
Well, no, I brought up the Ronald Blair thing today.
That is true, but he might not have made that connection though. Because anyway,
I didn't do
Next one
this
is
per square inch.
biggest hitter is what?
Yeah, he was the biggest hitter on the team.
This one wasn't easy for me to decide. Why don't you tell me your answer first?
Jared Davis. I have videos of him absolutely destroying guys.
I did consider him. I really did.
Let's see if I have a couple plays.
I really did consider it. Yeah. Pull up that.
I let's see.
You know how Joe Rogan says, Jamie, pull that up. Joe, pull that up. Let's see that.
I listened to that podcast.
I know you do. That's why I brought that up.
All
right. I'm not going to reveal mine yet. I just want to see some Jared Davis hits first.
Didn't you? I thought you watched the review, Kyle.
I did watch it. This is like the first one you put out. So this is going back a while.
And it's like people like, hey, can you just tell me what you think about Jared Davis? And I'm like, I remember, but I forget. I don't know if this is the biggest hit.
I remember one of my, not this one. My favorite play of his came from this game.
Dude, like he
chased back. He chased Jones down on like some type of toss or something like that.
To the left sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely have some just trigger hit.
Right, dude, that was a big hit, but come on, that was an easy hit. Jones couldn't even get his feet running.
I have 50 plays of him. I just all hit and I brought it up. I didn't watch it before. I don't know which ones that wasn't necessarily a huge one either.
Oh yeah, that was a decleater, man.
Go ahead, talk, and I'll pull one up where he rocks a guy.
By the way, you still got your Jamal Adams plays on here? You don't? You deleted them, right?
Dude, I was trying to do a film review the other day, and like my computer's going slow. I'm like, screw it, I'm just deleting everything.
Yeah, I know. I would be curious. Joe and I had a little debate over text message a little while back, probably about a year ago. My favorite Jamal Adams hit, and I know we're not Jamal Adams fans anymore after the, not so nice ending. But my favorite hit from Jamal Adams was in the Redskins game. He knocked the shit out of that running back from LSU who's no longer in the league because of like some domestic violence incident. Forgetting his name, but really tough running back. Jamal Adams knocked the shit out of him. I said that this was my favorite Jamal Adams hit, and Joe Blewett, he thought like the Adam Thielen Jamal Adams hit was better, which Thielen was basically a defenseless receiver on the play versus the one where he's going against this running back. I mean, you're talking like the running back saw Jamal Adams coming. Jamal Adams just still laid him out. So I wish you had those plays right now, but anyway.
Yeah, I think I deleted it.
All right. Anyway, so my answer is I put Fadu Kasi.
The biggest hitter, Fadu Kasi?
Just hear me out, man. Hear me out. I didn't want to pick Mosley because, Mosley can definitely lay hits and stuff, but he's just like a sure tackler. I wouldn't call him a big hitter. Marcus Maye can have some nice hits. I wouldn't consider him a big hitter either. Here's why I said for Fadu Kasi. Like, Fadu Kasi can stand dudes up, and sometimes when he does get in the backfield, he can still lay shots on dudes in the backfield. I didn't feel great picking this answer. I would have definitely picked Avery Williamson if he was still on the team.
Oh, yeah.
I'd pick Jamal Adams if he was still on the team. He's not. Davis, I had to kind of think on, he hasn't been on the Jets yet, so I don't have like those Jets plays, watching them in live time implanted in my brain.
I can't like find like the one I'm thinking about, but he's just like like in terms of like taking on offensive linemen and stuff.
He's a good hitter for sure, dude. Even Nania posted a video clip of Fadu Kasi just destroying someone on Twitter the other day, and it went pretty viral.
He destroys guys. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like, I'm not talking about like just him destroying a center or whatever too. Like, yes, that's part of it, and that's part of the reason why I said it. But you'll also see him lay some big shots on running backs from time to time. Again, I don't feel great picking that, but that's what I wrote. And I also wrote down considered Mosley. But yeah.
Mosley? Over Davis?
You bring up Davis now, and I would say yes, Davis is a bigger hitter than Mosley, but
the lack of respect on Davis. And it's not for his
play,
but for his aggressiveness and his hitting.
He's a big hitter. Yeah. I just wasn't thinking about it, but I'm still not going to choose him. You still didn't show me any plays where I said,
there's like 40. I have like 1,000 plays. Just
and not one of them is really coming to your mind so clearly that you can put it on the screen.
Really? We're gonna go
Darius
there?
Geis. That's the name. Darius Geis. Yes. Dude, watch that Jamal Adams hit on Darius Geis and tell me you find me a better hit in Jamal Adams' Jets career than that one. I don't think there is one.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one, quickest feet.
Okay. Quickest feet. Elijah Moore. That was easy.
Yeah. That's. I don't think there's a lot of discussion. There's lots of discussion there.
And we've
by
said his
far
name
the
a lot
quickest feet.
tonight. All right. I'm
Which is
curious
good.
what you have for this one. Best hands. You say it first.
Elijah Moore.
Denzel Mims.
Yeah, that's really tough.
Oh yeah, I did consider.
I don't know
Moore
if
too.
I like.
But you know what I factor in? Here's this was the distinction for me. Moore has really good hands and he catches with his hands, but Mims plays with more extension. So like he extends his arms more. And when you extend your arms more, you have to catch it with your hands. Versus if you kind of do this, it's possible it could squirt through your hands and then you could still do a body catch.
Yeah,
Right?
Mims, and I brought up a lot in his review. He has, and it's like weird. It's part of his athleticism profile, and like why I slightly compared him like AJ Green. He has that like extra 5% of extension that you like don't expect. Like he could, like his catch radius is ridiculous. Somebody put Herndon. Keelan Cole had, from what I remember, he had an easy drop or two though too. Like he had some focus drops. I could be wrong though. Again, put up thousands.
Keelan Cole, aka Brandon Lloyd. He'll make some of those amazing ones, and then he can drop an easy one. Corey Davis does have fine hands. Hoof.
Focus drops.
Corey Davis has fine hands. The thing about Corey Davis is like good in a lot of areas. He's not great in any one particular.
That's what I said.
area.
Like he's yeah. That's what I said in the review too. Like and I think I said on Scott's show too. When I did the thing.
Yeah,
for
you
Scott's,
did. You did. I listened to that.
Where I said like he's really good at everything, but not great at anything, kind of thing. Which is fine. Like that's a really that's like a low end number one, a really good two. Like that's what I feel like what Davis is, which is fine for $12 million to be completely honest. Again, they made out really well with that contract over giving Nelson Aguilar $13 million or $14 million, whatever he got. I still don't understand that.
Dude, let's just say this right now. We're talking hands right now. The Jets receivers right now have the best hands that I can ever think of a Jets receiving core having. Because let's even go back to 2015. Both Decker and Marshall, I wouldn't consider either of them to have strong hands.
Yeah, Corey Davis, strong hands, minus when he was pressing for 1,000 yards, which is what I believed to see week 16, 17, or 15, 16, 17 against the Packers and the Texans, where he was looking to run before he caught the ball, which was not that was atypical for him. Moore, strong hands. Mims, strong hands. Keelan Cole, strong hands. Like we have a lot of guys with strong hands, and even Crowder for the most part has some pretty good hands.
So I just want to seal my point with Mims, and you don't have to. I went back. This was not an easy one for me. I just felt like with Moore, he catches with his hands all the time. He's not a body catcher, but a lot of it's kind of like this. But when you're extending your arms out like this, and you have really long arms like Mims, it's got to be all straight hands to catch that ball, and he's just got so many good catches like that.
I could see that. I'm not going to change mine.
Okay.
But I could. That's a really good argument. Obviously, the slowest player on the Jets.
This wasn't easy for me either. I was like looking up their 40-yard dash times and stuff.
But like in reality, it's probably Fadokasi. But I was kind of thinking like this is like
I couldn't choose him because he's quick out of his stance and stuff.
I said slowest, but like I should have probably prefaced this like slowest per square inch kind of thing. Like not.
Well, you did put that one too.
Okay. Oh, I did, didn't I? Okay.
You did. So that's not. I have two different answers.
Me too. I didn't realize. Okay, go ahead.
Here's my answer. I'm going to give you my would have answer if this person was still on the team. If this person was still on the team, I would have said Josh Andrews.
Okay.
That dude looks like he's playing in mud, man. Like everything he does is slow. But I picked Alex Lewis.
I said Morgan Moses.
Okay.
Yeah, like
but when Morgan Moses pulls, sometimes he can impress you. Sometimes out in space.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of highlight plays more than the norm, to be honest. Yeah, I could see Lewis. I could see West Coast slowest per square inch. Yeah, but he's like 275 per square inch. We'll go to that next. I said Moses. You said Lewis. Slowest per square inch. Who is this? This one's more interesting. I have 3 guys, so I couldn't really decide between.
I thought this one was pretty easy. Slowest per square inch.
Really?
Jamie and Sherwood.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Come on, man. You know that's it. It's got to be it.
No, yeah. Somebody put beer chugging Islander fan. Dan Feeney's athleticism is actually underrated. He's actually a pretty good athlete.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't choose Feeney for that.
Yeah, no.
You know what? You know who I thought?
Sherwood's good, yeah. Because dude, it's so funny hearing everybody talk about, oh, he's a safety, he's gonna play linebacker, he's a really great athlete for linebacker. I'm like, wrong. Again, groupthink, like we were just talking about before. Groupthink. That's not
the combine numbers suck and the tape sucks in terms of athleticism.
He's not a good athlete. He's slower than Cashman. He's slower than Mosley. He's slower than Nazruddin. He's not fast. He's a average to below average athlete at linebacker, at will linebacker at least. So I'm Sherwood's the first pick where I looked at him. I'm like, not my favorite pick. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not going to be, again, every pick's not going to be, rainbows and butterflies. That's just not my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 3 guys, and Sherwood's probably that's a good answer. I had Hall.
Great answer, and you know it.
I had Hall, not the fastest player. I had Pinnock, who when guys get past him, he's trying to catch up. Not the fastest player. I don't give a shit what his 40 says. Yeah. And I also had P. Ryan in there too. But I think your answer is the best. I think Sherwood wins that. I do. This one was kind of hard. The next
softest.
Yeah. Who'd you have as the softest player on the Jets?
Yeah. Eagle, remember that job I had for you? I wrote Bless Austin. Pull up that play from the Bills.
Thanks, Kyle. Pull up that play from the Bills.
It's a big long run from their running back. What's his name? Small running back they got for the Bills. Why am I forgetting his name? And honestly, it's kind of Bless Austin.
First game or second game? I can't.
It's him not knowing where he needs to be. Dude, you say like he's pretty good at laying some shots. I feel like there might have been one play that I can remember where he laid a pretty nice shot on a guy who was already kind of stood up by somebody else.
No.
But he misses a lot of tackles. And then there are some times where he just looks like he's not even willing to get in on a tackle too. So that's why I picked him. No, and also I don't like him too. So maybe my bias stepped in there too.
Your bias slipped in here. It did. This is the first one I really disagree with you in terms of soft. I think Bless Austin is a really piss poor tackler. Takes a lot of bad angles, is over aggressive and stuff like that. But in terms of like willingness, Bless Austin will lay shots on guys. So I don't see him being soft.
Devin Singletary. You got that Devin Singletary play from the second Bills game?
I deleted all the plays of last year.
All right.
My computer was too stacked. Soft. I don't see Bless Austin being soft. I see him being terrible technically.
This one wasn't a layup for me to choose this one, but where I kind of struggled is I'm thinking, okay, well, who's the other? Who's a really soft Jet?
I just put somebody who I just get destroyed all the time. I have 2 guys, Connor McDermott, Chuma Doga.
Oh,
I think are super
I didn't
soft.
even think. Okay, all right.
Chuma Doga he's so soft.
And I'll give it to Chuma. Connor McDermott is just goofy.
He's just bad. He's just so bad.
He's really bad. And going back to slowest, I thought about choosing him until I looked up his combine numbers. Like, he actually tested pretty well in several areas, like in terms of athletic areas. Like
he's athletic. Have I seen his name before? Frankie from Flatbush. I don't know if I've seen him in here before. If not, you're joining like hour 3 of a 3. Well, it's a 3-hour podcast. We can go a little bit past. P. Ryan Adogo soft. I don't see P. Ryan as necessarily being soft. He said
P. Ryan's not soft.
Yeah, Frankie said something about Cashman if he's healthy making the Pro Bowl. No. Cashman was bad when he was in the game. He wasn't good. He wasn't good when he was playing.
He wasn't good.
I don't see that at all.
He in the NFL, and most of his reps came as a rookie. So
there's more. Eagle says there
wasn't
player,
anything he did good.
Eagle says there's no player I hate on this roster more than Chris Herndon. Mine's definitely Bless Austin. I could see Herndon though too. And mine started with the overhyped year one. Like people still reference that like it's such a good year one. It really wasn't.
Why did people saying P Ryan's soft? Like
I don't know. Maybe
what's the evidence for that? Like
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's a bulldozer or anything at running back. He's not, but soft.
I don't think he's soft. No, I would definitely say Adoga or McDermott.
I'll give it to Adoga. McDermott's just bad all around. Like Chuma has like decent feet. He could be at least a decent backup as a tackle. But that dude's got no heart, man.
Yeah, he's like soft mentally too. Like he just doesn't have it.
And by the way, and that's part of the reason he went to the third round, and that was knock on him in college. And
yeah, he didn't want
see
it.
why. You can see why.
This is not to be like whatever, but
I didn't think of Chuma though. But I will agree with you about Chuma.
Who's the most hard? Who's the hardest? Did I put that on there?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You want to say your answer first or me?
Jared Davis.
I put Carl Lawson.
I'm putting him in there a lot. Yeah, Lawson. I think if he's a little bit more aggressive in the run game, I would put it there. But Davis is like in terms of like a bat out of hell again, like willing to just stick his head into a 330-pound offensive lineman guard. He's willing to do that from what I saw. So I definitely have Davis as my clear number one there.
All right, I ain't gonna debate you on that.
Oh, you know what's another good one? Somebody put in there. Mike, really good answer. Justin Hardy is a good answer.
For hard?
For like, yeah.
Yeah, he is a savage, man.
Yeah, he is. That's a really good answer, Mike. That's I didn't think about that. That's a really good one.
The next one
is Frankie new? I don't know if Frankie's new. I guess not. I like saying stuff about players and having Blewett tell me how much they suck. I don't know if he's new and that's sarcastic or if he's a regular. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Joe is the most hard when he watches Bless film. No, I am the softest when I watch Bless film. Moving on. I don't know
three people that you want on an island to survive.
I love this question.
This is the one.
I love this question.
I was like, dude, you have no idea how many times I went up and down that roster.
So to say this again for people in chat, because I think this is a fun question. 3 people you want on an island with you to survive. So you're on a plane, it crashes into the water, whatever. You're on a cruise boat, it sinks. You have 3 guys on an island to survive a lot of time with. You have to think of a lot of different scenarios with this. Who are the 3 Jets you want on an island to survive?
So why don't we do one at a time? You give me one, I give you one.
Okay. So there's a lot of there's a lot of reasoning. You said you thought a lot on this.
Yes.
My first one is McGovern. Because okay. I
thought about him.
I know he hunts. That's a big reason. He can hunt and he can fish, and we need food.
All right. So I thought about choosing him, and I looked for that reason, and I think I might have even searched McGovern Hunt, and I don't remember anything coming up.
Am I just assuming he's a white guy from the Midwest that he hunts?
Dude, all right. So I was looking. I mean, I'm not gonna act
Jordan
like
Jenkins would have been on here if.
Oh yeah. He's a hunter. I know that for sure. I used to follow him. Or I guess I still follow him on Instagram. And yeah, he would post
I like some of the answers in here. Somebody said Revis because he's native to the island. I love that.
Not on the team anymore.
No,
So McGovern, yeah, I mean, like I'm not gonna act like I did like a huge biographical search on these guys' backgrounds or anything, but I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying he doesn't hunt. Just saying, like I feel like I did a little quick search because I feel like I remember seeing him hunt, but when I did a little search,
sure?
it didn't pop up. But I know but here's the thing with McGovern. He comes from money. He comes from a very wealthy business family. So that to me maybe thinks, well, he's not old money, or excuse me, he's kind of born into old money.
Hold on.
So is that a picture of him hunting?
Yeah, let me minimize it. That's him with a turkey. So that means he hunts.
Oh yeah, well he's a hunter. Okay, so that's a good answer then.
I don't know. I think there's some other pictures on here too. So I'm pretty sure I saw something.
Dude, I was thinking about hunters. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Who's somebody who can hunt? And I just couldn't confirm it for sure. And I guess I eventually just got fed up. All right. So that's a great answer then, if he hunts. I didn't choose him, though. So the first one I chose is Greg Van Rotten.
Does he hunt?
Not that I know of, but I chose him because he's an Ivy League school guy, so he's smart. We need some thinkers on the island.
Okay. So I just looked through his Instagram pictures. He literally had one picture of him with a turkey. So that's maybe why I saw that picture of him with a turkey and assumed he hunts. But
okay,
that's better than nothing.
I didn't check his IG. I should
have. So that's my one. You have GVR because he's smart.
He's the only Ivy League school guy.
But does book smart mean street smart and being able to do that type of stuff?
Well, there is some type of correlation.
Not necessarily.
He could have written philosophical book or read philosophical books and stuff, and he could know history and stuff, and he could have ideas of how people used to invent different types of contraptions and tools to get by in the past and stuff.
We have a couple of Dan Feeney's in here. I'm kind of concerned about Dan Feeney. Like he seems a little wild, and like you ever see
he could go cannibal and try to eat you.
Not that. Like, you ever see This Is the End?
No.
You've never seen This Is the End?
I'm assuming it's a movie. No, I haven't.
Who is that actor? Somebody's gonna help me out in the chat. It's that actor who eats all the food and drinks all the water, and you gotta. People in the chat know I don't want to say it, but he's talking about getting sticky stuff all over the house, and he doesn't care where he does that. So that's in it as well. But who kind of Feeney reminds in that situation. I don't want him in a survival situation, so I had McGovern. My next one that I had was, where is it? Q. I had Q.
What?
And this is to like fight a bear or like fight a big animal, because the thing with like Becton is like, you got to consider like, yeah, he's big and stuff like that, but I don't know if he would not get like injured or gassed out. Like I need somebody who's strong, but also has some stamina. So I picked Q.
Okay.
I picked Q.
Okay. All right. So my second one was Justin Hardy. And the reason is, there's a couple of reasons. He's a good leader, right? He supposedly has really good character, and he's also a business person. So, when you're a business person, he owns pizza shops and stuff, right? You got to think of things that you can do to survive. You got to innovate, right? To keep customers coming in. So you have to have a certain type of mindset. So I want a guy who's going to be able to think and how to create things and things like that. So
Oof said, don't want to have to feed Becton on an island. Also a very good point. That's a big guy. You have to feed a lot of food. So Q is about 100 pounds less, 80 pounds less. So that's a really good point. So you don't want Becton to eat you. So yeah, I want Q to fight a bear. Like if somebody's going to fight a bear on the Jets, you need some stamina. You need a guy who, well, I guess he had some injuries, but I'm going McGovern, Q. And then my last guy is Elijah Moore. Like,
why?
Strong mindset. Seems like super calm. Seems like in a situation like that, like he wouldn't go nuts. Like he'd be very logical about his thinking, and not a bear, but if you need somebody to like chase down like a pig or a turkey or something like that, like he seems like he could run forever kind of guy. So I have Elijah Moore, Q, and McGovern as my three.
Okay. My third one is maybe a dark horse. I don't know if you really thought about it. James Morgan. So
why?
All right. So hear me out.
I think I have a better people. I think I got a better list than Kyle. I think it's straight up.
Yeah. Quinnen Williams. Cause you want to fight bears. That's what you want. You want to fight bears. Now we're looking
I don't want to fight a bear, Kyle, but if I needed somebody to fight a bear, I don't say,
you're not going to fight a bear. You don't fight bears. You're not going to win. Quinnen Williams is not, I know you think so highly of Quinnen Williams. If he's not winning a fight against a bear.
So you're telling me if you're in a group and you had Quinnen Williams, Elijah Moore, and McGovern, and yourself, you cannot beat up a bear? And we're talking about, we don't know what island they're on. If we're talking about grizzly, if it's a black bear you can beat up a black bear.
Maybe a black
brown
bear.
Grizzly, a brown bear, or
a grizzly. No shot in hell.
Or a polar bear. You have no shot. But if it's on an island and there's black bears on that island, Quinnen Williams and McGovern can take a black bear together. They max out like 300 pounds.
Yeah, but they have claws, Joe.
Quinnen Williams got teeth.
They have claws. Yeah. One little swipe and Quinnen Williams is going to be gashed open.
Yeah, gash, but I'm talking about like listen, one, would a black bear even approach Quinn Williams because like he's just as big?
Well, which one? I think it's black bears, right? You're supposed to intimidate them, right? If you
Yeah,
see,
black bears you're supposed to act big. Brown bears you're supposed to either get the hell away or act
you're
like you're
supposed
dead.
to, aren't you? They're supposed to freeze. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to act like you're dead, but then
You're not supposed to run. You're
a
not
lot of
supposed to
a
run.
lot of people say that's bad though because they'll go up to you and they'll just crush your ribs. So like that's happened to people. So, but regardless, you're screwed. Like yeah, grizzly bear no, but like Quinn Williams versus a black bear, if it's a smaller black
No
bear, like
shot
not
in
like
hell. No shot in hell.
dude.
1-on-1 versus a bear, he doesn't have a shot in hell.
Quinn. Okay, well I'm talking about.
Remember, Arian Foster went on Joe Rogan's a couple years ago and said that he could beat a wolf in a fight. And
who?
wrote Arian Foster, the running back.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, not a wolf. No. Somebody said, "Is this JRE?" No, I'm just saying. Quinn Williams and McGovern. Like, you need somebody who's big there who could take a bear a little bit, just like last, like not like fully kill it, but like last a couple of rounds. He can last.
All right, so hear me out. I didn't get to elaborate on my last guy, James Morgan. All right, number one, he's also another smart dude. Right, he's going to go to law school when his playing career is over.
Dude, I think you're putting too much into book smarts over being able to build a fire. And
dude, honestly, I tried to look for people that do MacGyvering type of stuff who are into building stuff. Honestly, I tried to look for guys on the Jets. I was trying to Google people's college majors, like who's an engineer.
Dude,
I tried Google, who are the engineers? Everyone's like a communications major or a public administration major. Like, honestly, that's mostly what I saw. I mean, listen, I'm telling you, I was looking for the engineer types of people. I didn't find them. Morgan, all right, so good character, right? He's already doing like charity type work and things like that. Going to go to law school. He's humble. So that's my thinking behind him. But apparently I'm putting too much into book smart. I did think of that myself. It wasn't my first instinct. Trust me. But
listen,
I think my strategy, I'd rather put my strategy into smarts other than your retarded strategy. I'm not supposed to say that word. Your foolish strategy of fighting bears.
I can't say it because my wife is upstairs, but she's very book smart. She's not surviving on an island. Like, just listen. No. No. So somebody just said, so Frankie from Flatbush majored in fighting against bears. So maybe I want Frankie.
Who said bring Bless and feed him to the bear?
True. Or somebody really slow because you only have to be faster than the slowest guy. And then somebody said the segment on aliens. Hey, that's another podcast for a different day. I'm sure me and Kyle see eye to eye on that. I would bet.
What do we see eye to eye on? I missed that.
Aliens. I feel like we see eye to eye on that.
Probably, I guess. I don't know.
Moving on. We're both logical. Not saying it's illogical or logical either way. Next one, we're gonna have to do a couple more, and then we're gonna have to push them into next freaking show because it's 9:16.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize what time it was.
Yeah, it's 9:16. The weirdest player on the Jets. Again, we're just doing superlatives, what you'd get in like a high school yearbook, weird shit. That's the point of doing all these weird superlatives.
We might have the same answer for this one. I picked CJ Mosley.
Rusty Spooner said Dan Penna killed a brown bear with his bare hands, 100% killed it with a knife, stabbed it 70 times. I don't know who that is, but it can happen. And I'm sure he's not as big as Quinn Williams.
What island am I recruiting for? Long Island. That's funny.
To survive on Long Island. Then we're going Dan Feeney. So the weirdest.
I picked Mosley.
Yeah, he has like some of those I could see like the weird vibes.
Gonna say, I know someone who interviewed him and it was quite weird. Let's just
I could see Mosley and I might change my answer to Mosley, but I also had Lawson. And it was only because like he's like into like a lot of like the like anime and like weird kind of not saying it's necessarily weird anime, but like he seems a little like maybe like more of like a dork, so that's why I put him for weird, I guess. But Mosley's a good answer because he kind of like sits there and is kind of like just like says nothing and kind of just like has that blank stare on his face.
Awkward.
Like I could see Mosley.
Awkward,
yeah. I could see. I think you have the.
I didn't know Lawson was in anime. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he admitted like he's a big anime guy. Like they interviewed him, he's talking about like Dragon Ball Z and like
it's crazy, dude.
how some guy couldn't beat another guy in Super Saiyan or something. I don't know.
Sixth graders have like Dragon Ball Z backpacks and stuff. I'm like, I asked the kid, I was like, do they still run shows for that? Like, they still put out new episodes?
Yeah, not to say I'm very judgy, but just inevitably it creeps in. Like, I remember like going out and it was like a double, triple date situation. Like this kid I didn't know at all. We're like out to dinner, and like the first thing I saw was like his phone was like Dragon Ball Z background. I'm like, I'm gonna have a long fucking night. Like this is not gonna be fun. Like talking to this guy. Like, how am I gonna relate to this guy? Like, yeah, do you think Goku should have beat up Dragon Slayer? Like, I don't know. Moving on. The most did I put this in here for you? The most mean, like likely to murder somebody.
Wait, I don't think you sent that to me.
Okay, well, if I didn't, I put that in there after.
Oh no, you put mean, but not most likely to murder.
Okay,
somebody.
I put like murdered, like somebody to murder somebody in there.
Okay.
I said both are shot.
Mean versus murdering someone is very different.
Hey, I'm well, same thing. Somebody said, well, maybe Mosley would murder somebody because he's weird like that. I'm not meaning to shit on anime, but I'm just saying it's, whatever. We have a lot of anime fans in here, apparently. I don't know, but okay, continue. I said mean / murder. It's like maybe like mean in like a sinister way. Ulbricht's a good answer. Good one, Scott Wilson, but not who I thought of.
Mean. You have to give me your answer first because I misunderstood what you were saying.
Alex Lewis. Didn't he get like some type of like charge?
He
got some type of charge.
Was that why he was? That wasn't why he was out last year, though. It was something different. But yeah, going back. Well, honestly, you can say the Jets seem to have a pretty good amount of high character guys, which Joe Douglas said that was the way he was going to build it, and I think he's lived up to his word. I don't know that I have an answer for you because I understood it as like mean on the field, and I chose Lawson for that reason, but.
You honestly, seem like to be like a Lawson, like a lot of like the aggressive.
And I also had Lawson for heart. I love Carl Lawson. I'm sorry, I do.
No, yeah, so do I. Do you want to finish some of these, or do you want to push us off to the next show?
Let's just finish it. We don't have that much more.
Okay. This is gonna be an interesting one. Well, kind of. Most. Did I put this on here? Most pressure. Did I put that on there for you?
No, not for me, but I got overrated is the next one I got.
Okay, well, I have most pressure. Like who's under the most pressure this year? I think obviously Zach Wilson is under a lot of pressure in his rookie year, but I didn't really put him. So who comes to the top of your mind with like a lot of pressure coming into this year?
I wouldn't even say Wilson just because of the fact that he's a rookie.
He's a rookie, yeah.
Most pressure. I would say George Fant's under a lot of pressure, but since they brought in Moses, that's McGovern's definitely under a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely CJ Mosley's under a lot of pressure.
I put a couple of guys here. I couldn't really give like one answer. I probably could if I really had to narrow it down, but I just could have put a couple of guys.
I mean, I would say a monster contract, and he hasn't done anything.
I would say I said Becton with his like health, his weight. Like you want to see him start a good 14, 15 games this year, and really stay on top of it. McGovern, I said even Q to like reach that next level like he's expected to this year. Lawson for the money he got paid. Mosley, and I think
I would say Mosley's under the most pressure just because he's got the biggest contract on the entire team, and literally he's done virtually nothing on it.
No, people in the chat are saying Herndon. No, he's not. Well, I guess like in terms of like, oh, hey, he's gonna lose his job, but I feel like he's already like we already have such low expectations for him as like a fan base that like people don't. When you don't have expectations, it's hard to have pressure.
Yeah, CJ Mosley. I mean, was he the only guy from the Jets? There was the receiver too who opted out last year. CJ Mosley was the only big name that opted out last year.
Josh Doxson.
Yeah. So the only big name who opted out, and this was after he basically, had a groin injury that lasted all year.
Yeah,
he couldn't come back from.
Yeah,
and you're talking like people. Even though nobody said CJ Mosley was a bad player. I mean, nobody. I mean, there are players who said he's way overrated. I mean, there are people out there who said he's way overrated. But when he signed that contract, pretty much everyone was like, yeah, they definitely way overpaid for him, but he's still a good player.
I love how this guy is. Well, Corey Davis. Let me put it in here. Yeah, I love that guy keeps calling you Ronnie. I love it because like
And he's agreeing with me a lot.
You're in New Jersey though. You got the slick back hair. I could see your name being Ronnie though too. Like you have some of those fist pump vibes a little bit with the hair. So,
When I think of Ronnie, I think of Ronnie Coleman.
I think of Ronnie from Jersey Shore.
I've never watched it, but
I've just heard it referenced and like,
sure,
dude. No, I've seen it. I've 100% seen it. I'm not, dude. I was on a live stream and I admitted that
you probably have had interactions at your job with people from Jersey Shore.
Very much like people from Jersey Shore, that is for sure. But yeah, I don't care. There's, what's that Spice Girls song? Like I don't care to admit there's some good stuff that I like that's stupid. But no, do I like?
But you don't like anime?
No. Do I like Jersey Shore? No. But have I seen it? 100%. But yeah, that's what I think of. When I think of Ronnie. So I like your nickname being Ronnie.
Hey, listen, I never watched the Jersey Shore, but true story, I tried to audition for The Real World many years ago. But I guess that didn't go very far.
That is hilarious. Moving on. We have overrated. Somebody said Marcus Maye in there too. That's a good answer.
He's got pressure on him, but I don't think like the level Mosley does. Overrated, I have Ashton Davis.
By fans? That's more of a fan thing.
Yeah. I mean, listen, even Greg Williams hyped him up last year.
I put in Bless Austin, of course, because anybody who thinks he's anything is wrong. I had Marcus Maye in here because I think people think he's like Pro Bowl, top 5, top 10 safety. I don't see him as that. I see him as good, not great. I also wrote down Coleman. Tevin Coleman. Like people think he's like going to be like the lead back for the Jets.
Who said that? I haven't seen.
I've seen on Twitter like, oh, he's actually really good. Yeah. Sherwood I had in there, and I had Moses as well. Sherwood, not the biggest fan of. Moses, people act like he's a top 10 right tackle, top 10 tackle in the league. I think he's good, like slightly above average. 2020 was more of an outlier than the norm for him.
Hey, look at Legend Killer's answer.
I have to scroll up for it.
Not too far.
Marcus Maye overrated. Yeah, I agree with that.
Legend Killer, no.
I don't even see Legend Killer in here.
So we're talking about most overrated. He said Quinnen. Am I right, Kyle?
Where do you see this? He changes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I skipped over it.
Hey, he said it, not me.
Yeah, for all those guys, I've given reasons. Austin was overrated his rookie year. Herndon was overrated his rookie year. Maye, again, people, and it's just the bias of Jets fans. There's a lot of Jets fans out there who will say, "Oh, that Marcus Maye is better than Jamal Adams." Let's be real here. let's be real here. There's a reason one's going to get a $17-18 million contract, or 15, 16, 17, and Marcus Maye is going to get 11, 12, 13, max. There's one makes a much bigger difference. Sherwood's overrated. Coleman, Morgan Moses.
All right, so let me just throw my 2 cents in why I picked Ashton Davis. Honestly, it wasn't even really a hard decision for me. Maybe I could have thought about it a little bit more. I didn't even think Quinnen for one moment, but it seems like every live stream that we do, and we had one today, we had one last time we did one, people keep hyping up Ashton Davis, and they make it seem like he's just going to transition easily and replace Maye. And like losing Maye would just be, oh, it's no big deal. No big deal at all. No, it is a big deal. Honestly, like just from his tape last year, I'm trying to think, was there any plays I was really impressed with Ashton Davis? I'll say this. He laid a big shot on Cam Newton. Like he can hit.
I hated that penalty. He got that penalty too.
But like, in terms of coverage, like we drafted him mostly to be a cover guy. Like I just remember him getting burned by Tyreek Hill and stuff. Like, and dude, think back to when we had Rontez, and I'm not really comparing him to his level of coverage skills as Rontez Miles. It's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, like, when you got a guy back there as your deep safety and he just doesn't know what he's doing and he's getting beaten over the top, that's just big play after big play after big play. And maybe Ashton Davis is going to get smarter and make that transition, but if he doesn't figure it out and you have him back there, that's a big liability.
So we have a couple of things and I do completely agree with you. Somebody said Marcus May has way better hands though than Jamal Adams. Agree with that.
Oh yeah.
And then Eagle said Maye is better than Jamal Adams in coverage. Jamal is better in the box and tackling, but he is no playmaker. Well, yes, he's a playmaker. That definitely. But Jamal Adams, in terms of his playmaking ability, his impact in the run game and in intermediate zones, like in the short game of football, is a lot more impactful than Davis is.
Let's say this about coverage. Jamal Adams is better in man coverage than Marcus May. You're not going to see Marcus May play in the slot and D up a tight end or a big bodied wide receiver like Jamal Adams in press coverage.
And listen, like I know he's a clown and everybody hates him, and some people in the chat even said like, yeah, he people hate him, but in terms of like what he actually was, like there's reasons that Jets fans were uber excited about the guy, saying he's gonna make the Hall of Fame and he's gonna be with the Jets forever and all that stuff. Like he's a really, really good player. He just obviously pissed Jets fans off and not deservedly so, but like we're pissed at him for a reason. Like he's an asshole. But Franz Clamor actually had a really good answer for this too, who I didn't think about. Braden Mann, runner up, he was 29th in the NFL in terms of punters. He was like the stats, everything. Like he wasn't very good last year. I think some of those stats come from his coverage team not being good either, but he wasn't very good.
Dude,
eye test.
You and I had a show last summer. I can't remember what the exact...
I know. And I say he's always going to be like a top 10 punter or whatever. I just saw it translate. How does punting not translate? I don't get it.
Dude, you were you were wearing a man shirt in one of your episodes recently.
I'll still wear it.
So
I'll still wear it.
There's a guy right there overhyping him.
That was prior to him actually punting. Let's see if there's
the next one
else.
We got is underrated.
Oh yeah. Somebody said I think it's Hall. Are we really actually sure he's a starting caliber corner? No, not right now, but he's the best corner on the Jets. But Hall, listen, like I think his stats and like what people put out there are worse than he actually was. Like a lot of those receptions that he allowed on Keenan Allen and Parker, he was like really, really close to defending those balls. So let's go to the next one, Kyle, which is the most overrated players at least in Jets history, which is more of since we've been like really.
You didn't send me that one.
Oh,
the
okay,
one you said overrated signing, which I took as free agent signing.
Okay, so sorry. I have overrated in history. Sorry. I put two more topics in here that you don't know.
Yeah. So
George Fant is the most overrated. Scott Wilson, I cannot disagree with you more. But continue.
I wonder if he was being serious.
He's below average, but
so you were talking
he was garbage.
So tell me your answer for the topic that you wrote down. You said overrated in history, or
so I said I've overrated, then I've overrated in Jets history.
Okay.
So I put two guys who I think by fans in the last, I would say 10, 15 years are largely overrated in terms of their actual play in the field. Like people who I hear Jets fans talk about, oh, they should have been Pro Bowlers. They should have made it to the Hall of Fame. They should be this. And again, I'm not sure, whatever. There's me. Some people are pissed off, whatever. Maybe not pissed off, but what? DeBrickashaw Ferguson, I think is overrated. I think he was good in terms of his continuity. And he was always like a top 10-ish guy, but he was never.
His run blocking sucked.
He was never top of tackles ever. Like in the NFL, he was never like the top 3 tackles. Like he was good for consistency, but his run blocking was never good, like great. And I also have David Harris.
Okay.
Good player, team guy, but coverage, he was dreadful.
I got an answer for you for this one. I'm about to get crucified.
Oh, go ahead. I love it.
Person shares a birthday with me.
I don't know. You were born in the summer.
Darrelle Revis. Now hear me out before you guys crucify me. Just hear me out before you crucify me.
Yeah, that's...
Darrelle Revis made 6 Pro Bowls. All right. Darrelle Revis was very, very, very elite for a decent period of time. He does not have longevity in his career. All right. Now, those years where Revis was elite, I mean, it was next level shit that nobody else was doing. All right. And, you know, people want to compare him to Dion, and Revis has some things that Dion didn't. I mean, Revis was a really good tackler for a corner, and Dion certainly didn't have that.
And he also played in an era where it was harder to actually touch receivers.
Yeah. But look at the longevity in Dion's career versus Revis. So the only reason why I'm saying this is this.
Yeah, but
wait, can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead. I have some. I kind of have something to argue against.
I am saying Revis is just an awesome player, but I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of this too is because the Jets have had kind of a lackluster history that we really have to. Now I'm not getting any drinks anymore.
I'm the only one drinking.
This is we have to find our really elite players and hype them to an extra level.
Yeah, but what?
And it's like, dude, like, so look, so on my birthday, right? They're still like the Jets. Oh, Revis Island. Look what Revis Island did in 2009. It's like they're still like they're hyping them up all the time.
Yeah, I'm not here with you on this one.
And it's like, and I know players really kind of have like a crash and burn at the end of their careers, but the ending of his career was bad.
Yeah, but I don't think people's opinion of Revis was the Revis we had in 2015-16.
What I'm saying is,
if you're talking about Hall of Fame, like his Hall of Fame trajectory, like if he should be in the Hall of Fame,
he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but people, I think a lot of people's opinions of Revis, like Jets fans' opinions, was 2008, 9,
but
10,
how quick
11,
were people?
12.
How quick were people to crown him as the GOAT?
Are you talking about of corners ever? Or are you talking about during his
Yeah,
peak?
how many people did that? How many people crowned him as the GOAT ever?
Yes.
They're doing this in like year 3, 4 of his career.
Well, there's two sides of that argument. There's two different sides of this argument. Are you talking about the peak of his? Because when I argue that Revis is the best corner of all time or top 3 corner of all time, it's the peak. It's not the longevity, because then you have longevity. You have the Woodsons. You have you obviously have the Sanders. You obviously have the Champ Baileys. But at their peak, 2009, 2010 Revis, I don't know if there's a better corner ever than he was in those seasons. So I don't think he's overrated. I think if you're talking about longevity and his career, and you're talking about like what he was in 15-16, then yeah, he was bad. But what he was in 9 and 10, he was one of the best ever, if not the best ever, to ever play the game at corner.
But hear me out though, Joe. We don't put players in the Hall of Fame unless they've had a good long career.
Again, this is another
where they've done this year in, year out. And I know that he had many really good seasons. I mean, listen, and by the way, his Buccaneers season was not great either.
Well, they signed him to a big contract to play zone.
It was so fucking stupid.
Stupid.
He was really good with the Patriots too, and he won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. But the Patriots let him walk.
Yeah, he was good with the Patriots. He wasn't Revis of 2010 good with the Patriots. Like, he was solid. But so I think that's another conversation where, you know, we could just argue to you know, people like arguments. I think it's another conversation where we have to discuss what we're both arguing, and then we can eliminate the argument. If you're talking about Hall of Fame career and how good he was over longevity as compared to other corners, then yes, maybe overrated. But in terms of his peak, I could argue number 1 corner ever.
By the way, Eagle said something great. Eagle, that's a much better answer. I should have said that. Joe Namath is way more overrated than any other Jet. By far.
Yes, he had the most like passing yards and all that stuff. Like, he was the guy to like really start the passing game, but overrated in terms of like how good he actually was. Yes, I think so. But
I know it's a totally different era, but like, look at his interceptions to touchdown ratio. He's
big because of the
way
guarantee.
More picks. And I don't want to hear it was just the era. Yeah, that's some of it. Fran Tarkenton didn't have a stat line like that.
So
same error.
So again, and somebody said in the comments, Jeff Sanders said, or was it Jeff Sanders or no, Jordan Victor, longevity is a part of greatness. 100%. And that's the argument, is longevity versus peak. You're talking about longevity, overrated. Peak, absolutely no way he's overrated. His peak. Oh, no. His peak is.
I'm not arguing that for one moment.
If there's one corner taking on one rep against one receiver ever in the NFL, it's probably Revis. That's just me.
Dude, after his 2009 season, and
We've all seen that. We've all seen that graphic.
We had a strong feeling he was going to hold out, and he did hold out. Dude, do you know how many hours I spent checking messaging boards and reading articles? Are they getting close to signing? I'm checking it every day. All right. I mean, I had at least multiple Revis jerseys, like 2 different colors or whatever. I was a huge Revis fan. I hate the way he kind of ended his career, because like that 2016 season, he was dogging it and not giving a lot of effort. That kind of pissed me off. He held out 3 times in his career, at least twice, which,
yeah,
that
not
whatever.
Good.
I get it, but you don't have to like it though. But I will never argue the peak thing. I'm just saying longevity
100%, because he only had a really good 5 years.
And maybe some of that's out of his control too. I mean, he did tear his knee up in 2012. So
yeah, brutal. But in terms of 2009, 10, 11, my God.
And and 2008 too, Mangini's last year, he was really good that year too.
Yeah, Kyle. So it is 9:40.
Yeah. Do you want to just speed through the last?
I don't listen. We're going every other 2 weeks now. I don't think we have to do that. I think we just push off some of these topics until 2 weeks from now. So next week we have underrated on the team now, underrated in history, overrated signings, overrated draft picks, underrated draft picks, breakout players, favorite offseason moves, least favorite offseason moves, ranking the position groups. I have that in here. Ranking the position groups in the league, kind of where they fall. And then we're also going to get into comparing the position groups against the AFC East. Me and Kyle are going to draft the Jets roster against each other and see kind of whose team would win. I think we both start off with Zach Wilson. I think it's a fair assumption, because whoever has James Morgan, we're going to lose. But I think we go a snake draft for the Jets roster and see who wins. We'll get 22 guys on each team. And we'll talk about some stuff like that. So next show will be fun too. And then after that show, and another 2 weeks from that, we'll do the 53-man roster prediction. We still have to do the top 25 players on the Jets roster, which we've been doing for probably 6 years now. It's always a fun show. So I think we should push it off. It's 9:40. We've been doing this for 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Good by me.
Any last words, Kyle? We are going to, like I said, we're gonna close it out, and 2 weeks from now, Thursday, 6:00, not every single Thursday, every other Thursday. Mark your calendar. Probably not. We'll be here 6:00 discussing Jets games, Jets preseason, Jets roster. You get double the dose of Kyle Smith, who I'll put in the. I think you deserve a 10 font now.
After my Revis comment, I thought I'd be down to a 7.
Yeah, you're done. Well, no, I get the longevity versus the peak thing. The peak, if you argue the peak, I would end the show. I get the longevity. I get the longevity.
Dude, no one in this era, as far as I know, did what he did.
No, not even close.
Tracking
nobody.
Every top receiver. I mean, Andre Johnson, Andre Johnson, Calvin Johnson,
Terrell
one
Owens,
catch for 13 yards.
Chad Johnson. Yeah, no, he just destroyed people.
Dude, and Chad Johnson, no catches in that one game, man. And dude, that interception in the playoff game in Cincinnati.
No. Yeah, just dominated him. And he was talking shit before that game too, right? Chad Johnson.
The Vincent Jackson interception in
off
San
his
Diego.
Off his ass, yeah. But no, I remember Chad Johnson talking shit before he faced Revis, and then Revis shut him down. Because I remember being nervous, oh my god.
He said he was going to change. He's like, if Revis holds me to no catches, I'll change my name.
And he did, and he did change his name.
Yeah.
Randy
now,
Moss.
Let's be honest. I mean, Cincinnati was not really trying to win that game. They didn't have to.
Yeah.
So if they really put forward a full game plan, he probably could have got a couple catches, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah. So Kyle, last words. Again, appreciate everybody in the chat. Keep subscribing, keep liking the videos. Hopefully subscribe to the website. Again, every single game this year, you'll get a 1.5 to 3 hour breakdown. You'll get these live streams. Again, now we're doing it every other week, Kyle. We're not doing it once a month. You're getting double the dose of the live streams. So And on those weeks, we'll definitely encourage calls more during the Jets games. I definitely want to hear more from you guys. We shut off the calls tonight, and we don't really promote them very often just because we just spent 3 hours and 45 minutes and we didn't even finish the show we have. So, but during the games, I definitely want to get more fans' opinions. That's for sure. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the comments. Kyle, last words, and we're going to log off.
Thanks everyone for listening. Subscribe, hit the like button, and subscribe
Smash
to
the
JetX.
like button.
Yeah, subscribe to JetX.
All right.
And watch the AVT breakdown of Joe Blewett. You can subscribe to for free. And the other one, Corey Davis with Marcus Coleman.
Corey Davis, Elijah. Yeah, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, AVT. If you have some time to watch those. If you're like testing the waters, if you want to subscribe, a lot of the reviews come out on YouTube and they're only like 10 to 20 minutes, and you're missing out on another hour to hour and a half, 2 hours of all those reviews. So definitely go and check them out. So I appreciate everybody, and we are going to log off now. Hopefully it logs off because there's always a dead time. So if you guys still see me, again, appreciate you guys, but I don't know if we're on air.
All right, hold on.
Hopefully it logs off because there's always a dead time. So if you guys still see me, again, appreciate you guys, but I don't know if we're on air.
All right.